Did you know goldenrod makes an excellent tea?
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Or what's inside. You suck. Finally, we're going to reveal the... Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Tomic's... veteran of the comic book industry for 30 years, of a writer, of an artist, and this sucks.
Tonight's episode, One Last Trick.
Don't start! We haven't left yet!
Yeah, let's go indeed. Welcome, everybody. It is time for Running a Little Bit Late, Aaron Live. It's Sunday, August 4th, 2024. Can you guys believe it? I cannot believe that. I mean, it's going to be Christmas before you know it. It's incredible. Incredible. Once I turn 30, the clock has just been racing towards my untimely death. Well, let's hope not. Anyway, we have a very big and special show today. I know that there's other people out there like Shane Davis launching Inglorious Rex today and getting humongo numbers, but we want to spread some of that love to our good friend Andy Smith and Dennis Turner, who are doing their 30-day closeout for Kor-drath, A Christmas Miracle. And if that's not the title, I apologize. It's a Christmas something. Anyway, let's not waste any time. Let's bring these guys in here and get this show rolling. Everybody put your hands together for Andy Smith.
Hello.
Yes.
You got to be more like Frank Sinatra, baby. You just one take and you're done. I have never, ever. I have no bloopers. I have no backroom bloopers. It's just, I say it, I get it out there, and there it is.
Dude, those are all from like pre-recorded videos, you know, the ones that I like the opening.
Oh no, I know
stuff, and I'm just like, I screw those up constantly.
I got a few pre-record. Well, I do pre-recorded stuff 2 days a week. Well, technically one, because the time lapse drawing, there's no talking, but the book look there is, and yeah, there's no.
Well, you're more of a seasoned professional in acting and doing radio than I am, and so you know you get that line right the first time. Not me, boy. It's there's a few takes involved. Let's bring in your co-host on the Dennis and Andy show, and also your writer for Kor-drath the Kor-drath the Everything. It's Dennis Turner. There he is. Hey, Dennis.
Yo, guys, how's everybody? Welcome, chat.
What's up? Look at that, Steve Scott in the chat.
Dennis, you seem like a guy that I know you're East Coast, but have you ever been out to San Diego Comic-Con?
San Diego, yes. Comic-Con, no. I just won't do the Comic-Con. It's
really a guy like you, Mr. Comic Book. I mean,
He's going. Don't get me wrong. I'm dragging him out there 1 year because as much of as crowded as it is and all that stuff, I firmly believe if you're a big comic fan, you've got to go at least once.
Yes, at least once. Have you been to the New York Comic Con?
So I have been to, so the two big ones that I have not been to is San Diego or Dragon Con. That's the other one they can't believe I haven't been to. And it's mainly because of all the horror stories of, oh, I waited in line for 12 hours just to get into a room to talk to somebody and they were full, couldn't get in. And I waited in line 3 hours just for a hot dog. And it's just not, and I'm like, I got so many better things I could do with my time. For, you know.
Dude, Dragon Con's not a Comic-Con, so I wouldn't even waste my time going to there.
Yeah, that's something entirely different.
I know, but they're still saying with all the stuff that I do, you need to go to Dragon Con once, and they've been trying to get me to go to that. And I don't know, maybe one day.
Dragon Con's more of a fantasy con, which would be right in line with you guys continue to do Kor-drath books. That might be.
I mean, it is, and I mean that is a good point. It would be something maybe to look into getting a table, because I went one year and it was awful, but I had a bunch of superhero stuff. But you're right, with the fantasy thing, it might. The thing I don't like about Dragon Con is it's spread over like 3 hotels or something. It's not all in one building. Well, I haven't been there since Shelley and I were engaged, so I'm sure it was in one. I thought it was in one hotel. At least all I remember was there's a lot of chicks dressed as Vampirella and like barbarian chicks wandering around. That was all I remember. And I met Bill Stout there for the first time. So, yeah, well, I mean, they have a bit, I mean, unless it's changed, they have a parade down one of the streets, costume, cosplay big parade down one of the streets and stuff. Oh, do they really? Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. That. I mean, it is. Like I said, I don't think it's an awful convention. I think if you're going to go there and like you're known for just superhero stuff, I think that at that point, unless you're obviously like a Jim Lee or somebody like that, I think it's a waste of time. Right. But if you are doing, and I mean, that is a really good point, Aaron, with what we're doing with Kor-drath. Maybe next year we'll look into it, getting a table, because it didn't cost me anything when I got a table. I reached out to him. Far for you guys either, really, is it? That's like 4 hours. So no, it's not horrible. Not horrible. So, it'd be horrible if I didn't address the chat in my normal fashion. So let me do that, and then we're going to jump all over your campaign and all the entertainment I have lined up for this evening. Yeah. There you go. Let's see. Dan Genovese is here now. Dan, the Pizza Man Genovese, he's listed first, but he's not the first one in. Someone was here last night, and gosh darn it, I can't remember who it was now, but it was somebody. Citizen Roman is here. Squeaky says I-5 sucks, and she is correct. That is why we were late. We went and saw the grandbaby and ran into traffic on the way home that was unexpected. So, but we made it. We're doing it. Thank you guys all for waiting and being here. Randy Howell, all the way from Canada, for crying out loud. I haven't seen Randy Howell in the chat in like months. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I don't think I have. I don't know where Randy's been. Has he been showing up in your guys' chat at all? Yeah, he's there every Wednesday. So it's just me then. Yeah, it's just you. He doesn't automatically go right over to Great Beers after our show. We usually send everybody over. I have not seen Randy's name in the chat in a long time. I feel kind of hurt by this. But anyway, we'll get into that later. Geek Avenger's here because Geek Avenger, he's almost always here as well. Citizen Ronan, let's see who else we got here. Marcus Killigrew, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge, is joining us. Brian Suddenly Old, he's from Oregon. Daniel Russell, Rio Stew's joining us. Sean Allen, Let Them Cook. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. I'm not going to read all these because I might get caught up and have to cannonball a bunch of people. So we're just going to go through names real quick and we'll read some later. Angela Curry is here. Angela Curry brought me chocolate once. I'll never forget that. Yeah, when I was at Washington State SummerCon, Angela showed up. Was it M&M's or was it actually good chocolate? No, it was actually a box of chocolate. Right. That was good. Oh, was it a heart shape? Was it like the day after? Was it like a week after Valentine's Day? So she got it for like 75% off. Yeah, exactly. She was going to give it to somebody else, but then forgot. And so no, it was nice because I didn't say anything. I love free stuff, so it was great. Oh, so look on the bright side here, and you were still the second choice. That's right, but not the third. Pity Maw is here. Let's see who. Let's see. Dante Eriks
is here. That sounds like either a like a spy name, maybe, or like a James Bond kind of villain. Dante Eriks. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Postmaster Dan is joining us. Steve Scott, hi from Belgium, guys. Good luck on the new campaign, Andy. Hope all is well.
Thanks, Steve.
Very nice of you guys.
I know he's been living over there for a while now, if I remember correctly.
Toshiro's joining us. Joseph Pantalon is here. He says John Malin is preparing for a colonoscopy. He is praying he isn't abused. Well, at least you know what? The good thing about those colonoscopies, they put you to sleep. So whatever they're doing, you don't know about it. So that's, I think, is probably the best.
Unless you request to stay awake. I've done that.
You can stay awake. And I'm like, the doctor's like, do you want to watch? I'm like, why? Why would I want to watch this? Put me to sleep. I'll see you, in an hour.
You laugh. My very first one, I stayed awake. They didn't
do
not
the trust them?
One. Oh yeah, I got to watch it. They got a view screen right in front of you. And it was so uncomfortable. I was like, really? Well, next time we got to do a full one. So they put me out every time after. I've had to do one every year now.
So do I.
Yeah.
No. He means, Dennis, so you don't every year since when is the question?
Since for 28 years now.
There you go.
I haven't had to do it.
Yeah. See, that's the key to the story. You leave out the key components because when you say every year, everyone knows we're over 50. Now, granted, my next one's coming up, next year because it's every 5 years. So,
yeah, they found polyps when I was younger, so therefore we had to go in every single year. But I was awake for it, and I will tell you, it was a hell of an experience, one that I didn't ever want to repeat.
I don't know why you even make that choice. I don't know why
it wasn't a choice. They just said, "Here's what you're doing." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know any better than my first one.
They did not give you the option of being out.
No, it was called the Flex 6. So if we have doctors in the chat, they would understand. It's a shorter one where they don't do the entire thing. Okay. They only do like 60% of it, and apparently, therefore, I guess they keep you awake. And I was like, oh, it was very uncomfortable, but it was really neat watching it all going through.
Yeah, I don't think that's very neat at all.
That's weird. The fact that what worked you up more is they found some polyps, not the fact that he pulled out like 4 or 5 used condoms. That would have freaked me out more. But hey, to each their own, Dennis.
Oh, here we go, folks. Wow. Yeah, you don't have to watch Shane Davis's show to get disgusting commentary. Andy's going to provide it for you. So
yeah, you do.
Way more funny.
Iodine 74 is here. Evening all. Just waiting to get soggy over the next couple of days here in Northeast Florida. Meaning, of course, the humidity. I'm sure. Maybe they got a hurricane.
No,
I don't know.
There's the tropical storm, or I think it's going to go up to hurricane level.
Yeah, it's hitting Myrtle Beach all the way down.
I don't miss those. That I can say. But
we're getting the outer bands over the next few days.
Yeah. So. Yuck. Cole King is here. Kellraiser. He says, watching this with one eye and with the other watching Tropical Storm Debbie. So we got a lot of guys keeping their eye on that storm. Mm-hmm. Randy Howell's apologizing. This is okay. Says, work is killing me. Okay, Randy, I forgive you then. And what does Citizen Ronan says? He says, second is first place loser. I gotta remember who is first. I can't. They always knock off those first couple names for some reason. I don't understand why they do that. But Richie Dupe is here. Let's see who else we got. A lot of conversation going on here because that's what this show is all about. Matthew Mama is here, and okay, I think I got everybody. Let's do this real quick, lest I forget. I always like to run a little public service announcement if I can find the stinking tab for it. I don't know about you guys, Andy, I don't know, but I've got so many clips on here now. It takes me like a half hour to find anything.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. I mean, I got this, but that doesn't really help with anything. So we'll just move on past that. And where the heck is my thing at? Oh, there we go. Here we go. Yeah, like and subscribe. Help this channel grow. Frankenstein would do it.
I like that clip. I got to start stealing stuff like that. I never thought of doing a little clip that said, like, you just pop it during the show real quick.
Yeah. Remind the folks that, you can.
I like it.
We need your help. Now, have you guys seen this one? I use that one to scare Shelly. She never sees it coming, and it always pisses her off. But
have I seen it? That's me at 5 a.m. when I get up. I mean, my alarm goes off, and I'm just like, oh, time to go to the gym.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are why are you here again? You're doing something today. You had
I don't know why we're here.
What is it?
Apparently it's to talk about our colonoscopies because we're all over 50.
Wait a minute, let me bring this up. I know we're doing the Christmas thing, right? The Christmas
we are.
book. Okay. All right. Let me bring that up, and you can chat about that.
Yeah, so
hang on.
I was just going to say the Christmas Kor-drath, A Christmas Miracle. There it is. It's a little campaign that could. It's like the little train that could. It's just something Dennis and I talked about last, it might have been November, December, obviously. And I pitched him the idea of saying, we have a lot of time before next Christmas, a year. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should do a kid's book drawn in a simpler style, that square format. Because I did, for people that don't know, I did 7 or 8 kids books for Random House using DC characters. There you go. Ooh. Dennis is holding one up. Ooh, about 12 years ago. And I always wanted to get back to doing them, simple style, nice, quick, simple story, because it's meant for early readers or meant for parents to, read to their kid. And so we said, why don't we, let's see if we can come up with something with Kor-drath in his world that would be fun and entertaining for kids. Now, and it's going to ship in November. And,
is this book done? Almost done?
It is actually. I worked on the text today. We tightened up all the text, or Dennis did, and I tightened it up into the in Illustrator so I can start placing it. Yeah, the color's all done. Brad Venkata, who worked with me on all the Random House DC books, colored this as well, because I wanted to go with the same style. And since he colored those, I reached out to him, and he turned in the last pages a couple days ago. So now it's really just formatting it and, putting the kids' book together. As you can see, we're doing an activity book where the whole main story is printed in black and white with the text, so it can be colored and read. And then we're doing connect the dots, word search, crosswords, things like that. And that's going to be 36 to 38 pages. Mm-hmm. And then below that, as you see, we are actually doing an adult version where we are swapping out pages of the kid version for the more adult gory. And that's what it is. It's gore. It's not sex or anything like that. It's just gory stuff. Whereas you can see here, he gives the bear Christmas cookies that Adriana made. Mm-hmm. And the adult version, he eats the Christmas cookies and gives the bear the sharp end of his knife through his head.
As he impales him with a Christmas cookie.
In his eye. Yeah, it's hard to see, but there is one sticking out of his
I see that, yeah. I can see that right there. It is. Right there.
So we want the adults to have fun. And the nice thing is the adult can hand it down to their young one once they become old enough.
So you can go from Christmas cookies to Christmas gore. I love it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you got some stretch goals here that you haven't hit yet, but these look like they're pretty good. You got little stand-ups? I love these. Excuse me.
Dennis, do you have yours nearby?
Oh, we have one?
Well, we want to test it, make sure I talked to the printer. I had the printer send me a piece of the paper. I mean, he told me the weight, and I was like, yeah, that weight's good, but can you send me a sheet? So he sent me a sheet, and I printed it off just here on the computer or on my home printer, and Dennis cut them out, and they stand up nicely. And you can put them right on your little table.
Look at that.
So
little cutouts.
Yeah, little cutouts. The kids just 3,000. Hit 3,000, and we'll unlock it. And we're going to keep, like I said, the campaign ships in November, but we'll keep it open past that. For anybody else. But if they want to get it in time for Christmas, it's, we'll be going to the printer, end of September. So,
can you get these knee pads too? Or is that's not part of your campaign?
No, that's not part of mine, or our campaign. They could come with the adult version, I guess.
Yeah, possibly. Is this your photo, or did you steal one and then doctor it, or did you set this whole thing up?
No. Oh yeah, I said I don't have the printed book yet, Aaron. No, I doctored it.
Okay, all right.
I found a copyright-free family photo, and
okay. I thought maybe they were your neighbors or something. Maybe you enlisted to.
No, they're the ones he kidnapped last month. They're down in his.
Shut up, stupid! They're still downstairs trying to get out. I don't need them to hear that.
We just watched Trap. We know how this works.
Yeah, that's right.
I heard it wasn't that great.
No, you should watch our review. What did we get? We both gave it a 7 out of 10.
7.0. We both agreed.
For M. Shamalama Night Ding Dong, that's pretty good. A 7.
Well, the audience, what was it? Rotten Tomatoes audience gave it a 6.7. So right there.
Yeah, it was a 68%, and I think IMDb was 6 point something. So we were right in line. It was good. There were parts that could have been better, and it could have been great, but still, it was solid.
How often do you say that about one of his movies? My gosh, that could have been great if he hadn't screwed it up at the end.
Anyway. Like Old was one. The Cabin in the Woods was actually really decent. But Old was another one that was pretty good. It was very interesting concept, and it just kind of fell apart at the end.
Kind of like The Village was great until it fell apart at the end.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that one.
Yeah, that was not one of my favorites at all.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Geek Avenger for $5. Thank you, Geek. Says, I thought this was the Kor-drath version of the Star Wars Christmas special.
No, Geek Avenger, because this is actually good.
Yeah, besides, that at least was the first appearance of Boba Fett. So we don't have that. Sorry.
Stippling Bond says, still better than the Acolyte. Well, that's not exactly a high praise, is it? But
it was, Trap was a cool concept. And overall, he didn't screw the ending up like other movies of his. So, it's not a big screen experience necessarily because it's just what I call a real world movie. There's no special effects that you need to worry about and stuff. So, it was fine.
Well, let's remind everybody that the link is in the description of this video for Kor-drath the Christmas Miracle children's book, as well as your other Kor-drath project that's still running strong, Kor-drath the Awakening. And you'll find a link for that as well. So you guys want to hit those up and help Andy and Dennis have a strong 30-day closeout. You don't want to celebrate Christmas without a copy of this book under the tree. So
that is true. Brian Suddenly Old said that I send out a reminder. So we did launch Kor-drath the Christmas Miracle on Kickstarter. It is officially live now. So maybe that's what you're talking about. I sent out an update to all the Kor-drath the Reckoning backers from Kickstarter. So the campaign's live on Kickstarter as well. And of course, any money raised on Kickstarter will combine with this on Indiegogo, and we'll all go towards that stretch goal. So
here you go.
We'll see.
This is just a different type of. I'll read that and then I'll talk.
Okay. Randy Howell for $2 Canadian. Thank you, Randy. Says, can we get the Christmas spirit tonight? Oh, we've got nothing but Christmas spirit all year round, but especially tonight.
Ho ho
That's
ho.
Right. That's right. Exactly. Go ahead, Dennis. What were you going to say?
Guys, we were just trying something a little bit different. We took a shot at just doing something that was totally outside of the wheelhouse. it really did turn out nice. This has been fun. My daughter's a teacher. She actually read it and she thought it was absolutely adorable. And you know, we launched it like we would comic books on Indiegogo, and that probably wasn't, you know, hindsight, you know, it's not the same type of a platform. You know, started doing a lot of research into kids' books and realizing you basically have to have a literary agent and get in there and get promoted. And it's a whole different world. But Kickstarter offers, it's a completely different audience in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to try the Kickstarter route as well and combine them because it's a completely different audience. Maybe we do better. If not, it was a little train that could. It's still a great product. And it's a lot of fun.
Well, you know, Paul Taylor, all the way from Canada for $10. He's our resident biologist, by the way, if you didn't know. He says, "Hail, Aaron, Dennis, Andy in the chat. Nice to see some of my favorite CGers doing the rounds. Looking forward to the next Kor-drath installment." But you know what, guys? We can't, speaking of Kor-drath, actually, we can't exactly move forward in the show without examining first the Frazetta of the day, or it would be Frazetta for this week. So let's take a look at a little Frank Frazetta magic and talk about it a bit afterwards. So watch your monitors at home, please. So as odd as it may seem, that is one of my favorite Frazetta paintings. I don't know why.
Dude, that's a great painting. I don't think it printed as well as I assume that was like a good scan of the original, the first image.
Well, it was one of the Frazetta prints, so I assume it's as close to the original as it's gonna get.
It just looked more. The first thing I noticed, that was actually one of the ones that I haven't seen in a very long time. But the shadow in his legs were so much more purple, which I thought was great to contrast the yellows and stuff up above. But then on the printed cover, like a lot of that purple just went away, or wasn't as saturated, I guess. Wasn't as
good. A lot of that stuff, that printing sucked so bad, like in the 60s on that stuff. There wasn't even, some of that stuff wasn't even close, but I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know. The guy's got the chick over his shoulder and he's like bringing on, there's a couple samurais down there in the background. And it's a Burroughs story that dates way back to like, I don't know, I think the 20s, but some Chicago gangster ends up, how's the thing go? I think he ends up in China doing something, or I don't know. He's kind of an adventure thing. And my mom, when I
think you're thinking of the Kurt Russell movie now,
what,
where he ends up in China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. Was that an actual, I assume that last image was printed as a novel at some point in 1974?
Yeah, well, it was a pulp story back in the 30s, but they did print it as a paperback. That was 1974 is when that came out. And then, of course, next week, we're going to take a look at Return of the Mucker. But whenever I told my mom, oh, look, I'm going to get this book called The Mucker, she's like, don't say that, because it was too close to maybe, something else that maybe she didn't want me saying. So she was disgusted by that title. So, but I don't know, for whatever reason, you got that big butt of that chick he's got over his shoulder. I don't know, but I've always liked that painting. Even as a wee lad, I liked it. So there you go.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
You guys want to play a game?
I love games.
Okay. I know, Andy, that we did this before with you. However, I updated it. So there's some new challenges here. So it's not really Dennis, of course, you can play as well. This is more of an opinion game. It's not really a correct answer kind of game. but it's fun nonetheless.
I mean, if it's an opinion game, then I automatically win. All my opinions are correct and true.
Well, there's no greater expert on your opinions than you, of course.
Right.
So, what a nice game of chess. Thank you, Paul. It was running through my head. He wrote what I was thinking.
All right, so let's do this. This little thing I like to call... Now, it's simple. I give you guys two choices. You tell me which one you prefer and why. And then, you know, we can argue about it or agree, and then just move on to the next one. So this is, they're not all DC versus Marvel, but a lot of them are. This one is your first one. Would you rather go with the Justice League or the Avengers?
Avengers hands down.
No, not even a conversation.
Nope.
Wow.
No, I mean, you did pull up a great cover.
It took a while to find one.
I do. Yeah, I do. I just think, you know, once again, I'm going more from an art standpoint. Because I've only read, I've read a good handful, actually, the Avengers from the reprints. But from an art standpoint, look, I like the early, you know, Kirby, of course, started it. Then Don Heck had a good run, and I liked his work. But, man, John Buscema just blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
And, you know, Justice League, I appreciate Mike Sikowski's work. I like it when Bernard Sachs inked him. And then, of course, I don't remember what issue it was, but Dick Dillon took over. And those are both
correct,
Neil Adams.
Paul. Neil Adams on both of them. Yeah, well,
Dick
in
Dillon
the 70s.
took over.
Yeah, in the 70s.
Well, I was just going to say, Dick Dillon took over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he was on the book. We were talking about this on one of our streams. He was on the book. I had the accurate numbers, so I'll probably be a little off now, but it was from like around issue 70 something to like 180 something. And I like Dillon's artwork, but it was just kind of pedestrian compared to Buscema.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and even other artists in the 70s. I mean, Byrne had a run on there, Perez on Avengers.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
even Barry Windsor Smith.
Well, he had a couple. He had issue 100, of course.
Well, he did like
98,
4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, you're right, because he did 97, 98, or 98, 99, 100, I think, or something.
You know, point is, it's even Barry, whose work was very raw at that point. There was just something about it. Whereas, I don't know a lot about Dick Dillon's history. I assume he was a seasoned guy when he got on the book. Maybe he wasn't, but I don't think it was like, "Who was my first big gig?" You know. So,
you know who would probably take Justice League if he was here was Graham Nolan. Probably would. You know.
Sure.
But I don't know. I always found DC when I was a kid. DC comics were boring to me, and Marvel was exciting, and so I always went with Marvel.
You know, I had a finite amount of money as a kid when we'd walk in. And when I was really young, you know, they only had it on the spinner racks and, you know, like your 5 and dime. But then we got a comic shop. And even when we would go in there, I had my money every week and I would look at both of them. And, you know, I always bought X-Men first. And whatever I had left over, I bought whatever. Many times it was Avengers. I would always look up, you know, Superman, Green Lantern, Justice League. I'd flip through them, sometimes buy one or two, but it was always the Marvel titles, the key Marvel titles.
Yep, they were just more exciting to look at and read. Okay, so we're all in agreement on that. I would go Avengers as well because I don't think I ever read Justice League in the 70s. Now, in the 90s and 2000s, Justice League got interesting, you know, Jim Lee being on there and Jeff Johns and stuff. And it became, or even Kevin McGuire's run.
I think that's what ignited it.
Yeah. In the late 80s, early 90s, that was good stuff too. But
hey, Andy, Cole King's saying that the Kickstarter rewards are not appearing active for him.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go look at that right now and see what's going on.
All right. Well, while Andy's doing that, we will bring up
What was your
another
first one?
All right,
so I also did send you some information, but since you were gone, you probably didn't see them, Aaron, about some of the news and some of the things going on. Did you hear? Giant Size X-Men got a 9.9, the first one.
I did see that, and now they're worried that there's going to be this run on 9 that they're softening their grading so that now you're going to see more 9.9s, or they're worried you might see more 9.9s.
Yep, the entire slab market could. There is a genuine concern about it going into a turmoil right now because that made so much news, and really the difference between the 9.8 and the 9.9. I even sent you a video on the guys from CGC does a quick grade because some of them Boom Studio shipped an entire straight from the factory right to them to go through 400 and some books, and he shows you how he grades them and breaks them down and pulls out the 10.0 9.9 candidates and stuff, and it's very interesting.
I'll have to check that out because I do have a great deal of interest in that, and actually got my own little CGC story here later on. But let's finish the game out here with another option for you gentlemen to choose from. Going into the horror realm here, are we going to go with Morbius the Living Vampire or the Tomb of Dracula?
Dennis, you can go first.
You know, I like both of them. Honestly, if I have to choose, I would probably do Tomb of Dracula. Both of them are solid. You know, again, as a kid, you know, I only have some of them right now. I had at one point got rid of a whole bunch of my horror titles and stuff like that. I don't even know what I've got left of them, and I really wish I wouldn't have. The Tomb of Dracula always called out. Besides, I think First Blade, right?
Yep, true.
Yep, I still remember that. But the Dracula, the way that the Tomb of Dracula, it was just the fear and the horror, how it went in there was more, how can you say it, realistic in the Tomb of Dracula than what it would be through the Morbius ones.
Right. You had more of a gothic feel to Tomb of Dracula. And I totally get that. You know, I got to be honest, though, that mustache always just, I couldn't handle it. Even in the 70s when mustaches were supposedly cool, I wasn't a big fan. So, and plus Morbius is more of a superhero. And in that period of time when I was, 12, 13 years old reading comics, superheroes were everything. Right. And so I was like, okay, well, that vampire is a superhero. So I never read Tomb of Dracula. I was a big monster guy, read Man-Thing, Swamp Thing, Frankenstein's monster. But Tomb of Dracula was one it never interested me because, to me, a vampire is just a dude with fangs. You know, I want guys that look more like monsters, and Morbius was more creepy looking and looked more like a monster. So, although Neil Adams did some really nice few covers here and there on Tomb of Dracula, and we did it, like you said, had the Blade appearance, and they had the first Tomb of Dracula, Dracula Werewolf by Night crossover was in Tomb of Dracula. I think it was 14. Don't quote me on that. I do have it, but I can't remember what the number was. So, but I know that Gene Colan did the art, and people like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of the quality of the character, or I should say the appeal of the character, I was always Morbius. But then again, I was a huge Spider-Man fan, and Morbius, of course, first appeared in Spider-Man, so that might have something to do with it as well.
See, I like Morbius as a character. I liked him when he was in Spider-Man. I think it's isn't Spider-Man 100, 101? Yep. 101. That would be
101. Yes.
Yeah, he's great. But I did like it. I actually had to pull up just to see what I had. I still have my Tomb of Dracula #1, but it looks like I did get rid of the bulk of my collection of it before.
Well, that's the one that's worth the money, is the Tomb #1. So I bought
actually one. It would be number 10, I think.
Blade, right? Blade. Yeah, Blade. Yeah. Should have hung on to that one, Dennis, too. Jeez.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Andy, do you have an opinion on these two guys?
I do. Morbius, because like you, I'm more of a superhero guy. I love, if back then, if they were like, probably what the pitch was, hey, we want to do a vampire, but not Dracula. And, we're Marvel. We do superhero stuff. So make them cool. I'd be like, sweet. I get to design a vampire villain, muscle dude.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Tomb of Dracula, I never bought it. I've looked at it, and I think the art's cool, but that's a book to me that I'd rather, it makes a better movie than a comic, right? Yes.
Well, it lasted longer though than. Yeah, it did last longer than all the other books. The Tomb of Dracula did, so they were doing something right. Past Master Dan says he was French. That totally explains the mustache. Kellraiser says Werewolf by Night was the #1 monster book. That was for me as well.
See, I liked. Now, if you were to put like Werewolf by Night, Tomb of Dracula, and Frankenstein, I would have picked Werewolf by Night.
Yes,
because I like Klug's art, and to me, it's not just a werewolf, even though it basically is. I don't know.
I'm surprised that Marvel has not made a Netflix series. This guy on the road changes into a werewolf and he has adventure. I mean, it's a perfect thing for a TV show that they just haven't done. I don't think they've done a good job of using the monster
special.
Well, I saw that one, but I just think as an ongoing series, it has potential. And they tend to ignore the good stuff or the good because they're dumb. Okay, how about this one? Let's get a little color involved, shall we? And what do you guys think of?
All right, Black
Goliath or Black Lightning?
Once again, I'm going Marvel. There's just something I liked about Black Goliath, and the nice thing was, I think it was only 5 issues that I actually, it's one of the few series. I have a few series, I own them all, and that's one. I like George Tuska's art. I just liked, I liked Black Goliath. Black Lightning never did it for me. Now, if they just would have done Black Vulcan from the Super Friends cartoon as a comic, I would have chose Black Vulcan because that costume is freaking awesome.
Dennis, what do you think?
I'm kind of there once again. It was just because Black Goliath, just like any of the other characters, I read Marvel. He was slightly integrated, but he was out there. I never did pick up Black Lightning, even as a kid. Black Goliath was kind of there, Power Man, those. But man, I would have just chosen Black Goliath. But I don't even think I own, and I think you're right. I think it's only a 5-issue series. I don't even think I own them anymore. When I did my my sub purge.
I'm going to go barely with Black Goliath because I was a Luke Cage. I loved Luke Cage when I was a kid, especially when he was hero for hire and he was actually getting paid to kick butt. I always thought that was great. But the first appearance of Black Goliath is in Luke Cage 24. So,
really?
And I have that. And
is he wearing that snazzy costume?
Yes, he is. And nice. Now when Black Lightning came out, this is how collector conscious I was even as a kid. When the first issue came out, I was like, ooh, first issue, I better get that. So I did buy the first 4 or 5 issues of Black Lightning, but I couldn't. DC just had a different feel in the 70s. The comics weren't as fun. They weren't as big as, the universe. Everything seemed to be kind of like street level at DC, where at Marvel, it was cosmic level. You know what I mean? And
what year was Black Lightning? Did that come out?
I'm off the top of my head. I want to say, you guys help me. What 75 or 77? It was probably 77.
Oh, you've got 35 cents, but
I'm looking at the covers because I think 76 was Black Goliath. So I'm assuming Black Lightning would be 77 at least because it's at a higher price.
Let me think. I was 77. I would have been 13. So I'd have been. I remember when it came out. It was at this Minute Mart that I would ride my bike to. So I was either 13 or 14, so it had to have been 77 or 78. So there you go. And Trevor Von Eden did the artwork though in Black Lightning, which I did know that, but somebody brought it up. Who just said that? Oh, Past Master Dan. Or Marcus
yeah, but
Berger
Trevor's
well.
stuff wasn't, and obviously, I mean, he was young. I
Yeah.
think he started before he was 20.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Trevor that was in the 80s with
That's
like
true.
that Batman annual.
Yes.
And
oh, he did the drug
yeah.
one with Batman, right? In Legends of the Dark Knight, where Batman was on drugs. Wasn't that Trevor Von Eden?
wait.
What was that called? It was one of the Legends of the Dark Knight.
Are you talking to one? It's not
Venom.
where he was on. Are you talking to Venom? Well, I thought that was like Trevor, Russell Braun, and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. I've got the trade paperback.
All those guys were in on that?
I think so. Like I said, I've got the trade of it, but the point is, the end result, it looks like Jose. So
yeah, that's true.
Trevor did some great in that time period in the 80s when he rocked out on that Batman annual. He also did a few issues of Batman and Outsiders, which were awesome as well.
Paul Taylor says Bill Foster as Black Goliath, appearing in Black Goliath #1, 1976. Cover art by Rich Buckler. That's Rich Buckler ripping off Kirby. You can always count on Rich Buckler to rip off somebody. It's either Buscema or Kirby. And this,
I had no idea. I mean, I'm sure I read
Kirby
somewhere that was Buckler, but I'll be honest, I didn't know that. That's a shame. I like Rich's stuff. I liked it better when he was doing his Neil Adams.
Oh, that's right. He would do Neil Adams riff. He'd do Buscema riffs. He'd do Kirby riffs. It was like,
well, everything at DC was a Neil Adams riff. Right. But at Marvel, it was like there's a few issues of the Avengers in the early 100s he did that Joe Sinnott inked that are Neil-esque.
Yeah.
But then when he did Fantastic Four, it was more Kirby, So he definitely fluctuated there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, your cat's giving a lot of love to Atari Force. Look at that. Atari Force.
Wait a minute, hang on a second.
Well, that's a bone with Aaron. So
yeah, well,
is that why?
We're gonna have to take care of that in a second here. But you guys, how about this? How about the Spectre or the Demon?
On this one, I go the Spectre.
I do too.
Yeah, I picked him up. That was one of the few DC books I would occasionally get. I never was interested. I think I picked up a couple of Demons. Don't even know if I have them anymore. Never was a big fan, but I did like the Spectre. So that would have been a win on that one for me.
This Aparo and Fleischer run is just fantastic. And if they would do a Spectre movie and base it on what this story arc was, it'd be incredible. But of course, they don't listen to me. I will say the cover to Demon #1 was fantastic by Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way in the world my mother would ever let me buy a book called The Demon. And so I didn't even attempt to buy it. But so I've never read it. But I do find him one of the more interesting looking characters that Kirby created back in those early 70s when he first went over to DC from Marvel.
Yeah, so out of the gate, I didn't buy either one of these books when I was growing up, even as back issues, and because I mean, obviously they came out before I started collecting. But then when I went and got back issues, I liked Kirby and I liked Aparo, but these weren't on my radar. But I've read more Spectre than I've read of the Demon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, like you guys, I go with the Spectre. One, I thought Aparo was just hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah,
at that time period. And, he was doing Batman then too.
Mm-hmm.
And the Demon I'm a Kirby guy. I like Eternals. I like New Gods. I like, Atlas he did for first issue, whatever it was called at DC, first issue special, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I never got into the Demon. I'm a huge John Byrne fan. When Byrne did his run on, started the Demon, 20 years ago, whatever it was. But I was like, yeah, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Son of Satan was out then.
Oh my gosh, there's no way I would ever have bought that book.
See, and I did.
No, I remember. I bought number 1 and just recently, and I either Dennis and I were doing one of our, this is what we got from the con videos or something. But I remember going, this is a book Aaron would never buy. You might have even been on it, but because I busted your chops over, I'm like, look what I got.
I know you. I think you did. Let's take it. Daniel Russell, Atari Force is a grade A sci-fi comic. You know what else is grade A, Daniel? There you go.
So Aaron, what is it? Since they're picking on you about it, what is up with Atari Force? You don't like it?
Any comic books based on video games, please. I mean, do I have to say anything else? Just
but see, here's where you're missing the point. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but not from me. You're missing the point is I now own all the Atari Force mini comics. Okay. I used to only have a few of them. There's only 5. And the only way I could get the extra ones I didn't have is if I bought doubles because it was hard to find them separate. Point is, those were really game based. Like they had the logo on their chest. You saw the drawing. I trolled you on Twitter because I did a drawing of the main guy. But the actual comic that DC put out with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, you didn't even look at that and think twice that had anything to do with the game. I don't know why they named it that. I'm sure it was a licensing deal, but the visuals of it, I'll be honest, I was disappointed going from, because I saw the mini comic as a kid and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I saw the real book and I was like, oh, why'd they go with these designs? Blah, lame. But I bought them because
Garcia Lopez
it's Jose.
And Mike Barron and but
no, it was Mike. I think it was Mike Barr.
I thought Barron said he wrote some of those.
Was it Barron?
I think he
I don't now. I admit I don't own the whole run. I only have like 5 or 6 because I really like the art. But they're so different. And yeah, Ross Andrew did the art in mini comics. However, Gil Kane drew 2 issues of the mini comics, maybe 3, but I know for sure 2. And then Ross did the others. So
yeah, Mike Barron I know did something because he was on one of his shows and I think he was talking about it. And I was like, oh, that's actually
okay. So
cool.
Once again, Marcus, Mike Barr, I guess, started it, and Mike Barron wrote the end of the run.
Yeah, there you go. Someone was asked, this is an interesting question, but I guess it's opinion, but was Kirby at his peak at DC? His art looks better to me. I don't know. He had, I mean, a lot of the stuff he created at DC didn't do fantastic when it was released, but boy, it's held in very high regard now. Mandy, but Omac's the only one that I thought was really, but the Demon.
So the way I read that question was from a visual standpoint.
Well, right, I agree. That's a hard question.
I think he was at his peak. Those last, 20, 30 issues of Fantastic Four. Because I'll be honest, the first few issues of Fantastic Four, I just can't get into them because it's not the Kirby art-wise.
Right. He was developing
issues.
His style.
Yeah. But when he was up to the 60s, 70s, and the end run on FF, I love that stuff. And he just drove that right over to DC. So from an art standpoint, I think, yeah. And then when he came back to Marvel, I think there was a little slippage. I still like that Cap stuff. And Black Panther.
I was on it, but I was never a big Kirby fan growing up. I came to appreciate him as I got older, like a lot of people did. But his DC stuff, you go back and look at it, it's pretty good. I mean, he was doing Mr. Miracle, the Demon, Omac, Commandy. I mean, Judas Priest, and then all the Dark Side he created, and because he did some stuff on Jimmy Olsen. They were using
the Jimmy Olsen stuff. I thought was pretty weak, actually, which is the same time period. But I just look at it, I'm just like, I don't even own a collected edition of that stuff.
When you're doing that many books a month, they can't all be genius, But I think you could tell which stuff he enjoyed doing more than other stuff, even though he created all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've got New Gods. I've got Mr. Miracle. I think I got the Commandy trade. OMAC. I loved OMAC. I thought OMAC was cool.
OMAC was freaking weird, man. That first issue where there's that chick in a box.
Chick in a box.
That just freaked me out. I was a little kid. I couldn't read it,
dude.
Could not read it. All righty. We got a couple more to do here, and then we'll get back to your campaign. I know which one Andy's going to pick here, but and for good reason. But here we go. Claw the Unconquered or the Stalker?
God. Yeah, honest. Look, I like Ditko's work.
Inked by Wood.
I know. But the fine thing is, most people inked by Wood I like, but I didn't really like the Ditko Wood combination because I like Ditko's quirkiness. No, it's the Claw, and it's not just because I drew them. I mean, honestly, both these books I really couldn't give two craps about. But since we're playing the game and I got to choose one, I own one issue of the Claw, and it's the first one that I bought because I was drawing the book. And I'm like, well, I might as well look at one of them. So,
well, yeah, that was Ernie Chua, sometimes known as Ernie Chan. I bought this when it came out, 76 again, I'm pretty sure. Actually, all these, they did this whole fantasy line. Remember, Beowulf was another one that they did around this period of time, which I think, was that Jerry Bingham?
No. Jerry Bingham drew the graphic novel.
Okay.
From first.
Okay.
I can't remember who drew Beowulf for DC. I do remember, and I own them, is because it was short-lived. It was like 5 issues. What was it? Sword and Sorcery? It was Chaykin. Was that the book?
Yeah. That was Chaykin.
Ring a bell? Yeah.
Yep. That was Chaykin. They kind of went that whole Conan route. And this is pretty much, Claw's pretty much a Conan ripoff, but I read it. I bought it and I read it and I loved it. I did buy the Stalker simply because it was a #1 issue. And I do like the concept. And I actually got to draw both these characters in my first story arc on Wonder Woman. So I have a soft spot for both. But Claw the Unconquered is more traditional.
In Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
In your first story arc? I think I have that trade paperback. I'll have to go back and look. You drew Claw?
And Beowulf, Claw, and Stalker are all in there.
All right, I got to go back and look.
Because Gail asked me, she goes, "What do you want to draw?" And I said, "Well, barbarians and dinosaurs." And so she said, "Well, I got this idea. We bring in all the '70s old barbarian characters. Like, let's do it." And it's a good story arc, and it features all those characters in there. So you should, if you haven't seen that, check it out. Stealth X5 for $2 says hello. Thank you, Stealth. Hello back to you. Thank you for joining us.
I had to pull up because I was trying to figure out, because I knew they came out really close to one another. And I remember I picked up one Claw once, and I never picked up a Stalker because they just didn't interest me. Claw came out in June of 75, and Stalker came out in July of 75.
Oh, these are 75, not 76.
Yeah. So they were literally a month apart.
Yeah, they were really pushing it. And of course, Paul Taylor says Warlord, which of course first appeared in the DC Comics first issue special.
Yes. Now Warlord I liked. Dude, I liked Warlord.
Oh yeah, I loved Warlord. Grell, that was a Grell creation. And Headless Bourgeoisie also talking about Hercules, which I remember buying that first issue, Hercules Unbound, and Simonson took over, I think, on the second issue. Wasn't the first one Wood or something like that? I can't remember.
Oh no, the first issue was Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, inked by Wood.
Yes.
No, I don't think Simonson took over until like 7 or 8.
Oh, was it that late? Okay.
Yeah, and he didn't start inking himself. The book lasted till what? Somebody in the chat will know, but I think the book only lasted till like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I think he only inked like 2 issues. Because he was inked by Wood as well, I believe.
I have to go back and look. Eric Boyd, of course, says Warlord looked cool, but couldn't get past the you-know-what ass costume. And there's some truth to that, because if you remember, Killraven had a very similar costume, which that first
was worse. Like, I think Killraven's was more gay. I can say.
Yeah, I think it was too.
I liked Warlord. Warlord, it was the only one I picked up occasionally, but I like that one, and it ran a hell of a lot longer than these other ones did.
Yeah, well, it was, and dinosaurs and stuff, so it was great. Killraven, the very first issue in Amazing Adventures 18 is Neil Adams, and it looks great despite but I think they ripped off the costume from Zardoz, that Sean Connery movie, which why you would rip that off, I have no idea. It was the most embarrassing costume I've ever seen in my life.
It looks like it heavily.
Yeah. Yep.
But then what was it? P. Craig Russell changed it when he
yes, and actually that was really
P. Craig
cool.
that changed it, or was it changed before that?
I just know that it was his run, so I don't know if he actually designed it or not. But yeah, it looked cool once he changed the costume. It had a pretty cool costume. All right, guys, we have one more to do. I know this is probably going to be like obvious, but I got to do it anyway, especially with Dennis here. I know where Dennis is going, but
oh god, it's X-Men related.
Yeah, is it X-Men or is it Teen Titans? Now this I know it was 1982, but both these teams were around in the 70s, so you know.
Right. Aaron got lazy, didn't want to pull up two different covers, figured he'd just show the one.
Yeah. Well,
this is a book that Aaron never owned until like 3 months ago.
Now I got 2 copies.
Are you serious? Why?
Yeah, I bought one and someone sent me one. So
which one's in better condition?
The one the guy sent me. I thought I
knew it.
Well, I bought one that was supposed to be a near mint, and it showed up and it was dinged up, and I didn't pay I paid $5 or something for it, so I wasn't going to send it back. But I was like, come on, man. And then this guy got me one. James actually, Sequential Treasures, got one for me at Washington State SummerCon, and it was like gem mint. So I go, well, okay, the one I bought is now going up in the spinner rack, and the one he got me is now going in the collection. So,
but did you actually read it?
I have not read it yet. I looked through it though, and it was really cool because, of course, Simonson did the artwork, but I haven't read it yet. But I will eventually.
Okay, well, I mean, for it's X-Men. I never read Teen. I mean, I got a few issues here and there because I liked, George Perez's art.
Yeah,
but it was X-Men. My first introduction to the X-Men was the Byrne stuff. So,
Dennis, who do you like better?
You don't have to ask mine. You already know it. I have multiple issues of this. I did love this crossover. I like everything that they did back in there. I mean, Claremont, Simonson, it's all good.
Do you think the new Teen Titans got so popular because Perez was working on it, or do you think it was just the characters were just kind of hit at the right time? Because I never was a big DC sidekick fan.
I think it was a combination of both Perez and Wolfman, and that X-Men was, so hot at the time that DC really struck at a good time.
Yeah, to kind of create
George was hot.
X-Men type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I
George
was just
was hot.
say, the reason I think the Teen Titans kind of took off. Here's the way I've always viewed Marvel versus, DC. Marvel, the reason I bought them over all the DC books is because I could relate to the characters better. I was a teenager. I could relate to the troubles and tribulations that the angsty X-Men teenagers, that's what they were going through. Yeah, they were mutants and they had abilities, but they were all flawed and they had that. The problem I always had with DC is, your Superman, Wonder Woman. I mean, they're Boy Scouts. They're pure. They have no flaws. They have to create kryptonite to make Superman go down. But then they introduced the Teen Titans. And just like the X-Men, the Teen Titans, kids could relate to it of that age. So as they continued to get older, the new Teen Titans kind of grew with them. So they were kind of their version of X-Men because they were relatable.
I would
that's what I'm saying.
I think that's a good assessment. Yeah. So new Teen Titans was really, really popular, but I never read the X-Men. I never read the Teen Titans. I read the X-Men a little bit. I became an X Factor fan just out of rebellion. So I'm going to go with X-Men. Cause like I said, I've never been a big DC sidekick fan. So there you go, folks. That is our 70s showdown for this week. Let's take a moment now and go back to Kor-drath.
And by the way, I'm looking at Hercules. I'm up to issue 6, and it's still Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Wally Wood.
Okay. So we didn't get, Marcus probably knows. Should I play this video? Why don't I play this video?
Yeah, play the video.
I pushed the right button, so you should get your sound here. So here we go. Tell me if you can't hear it.
I can hear it.
Excellent.
My God, this just gets you in the Christmas spirit.
Boy, just wait till Krampus comes.
And just like every good Marvel movie, there's an after credit scene. A little tease, if you will, of the two-headed troll.
Again, so this is like not gold key, but a golden books, right? Kind of size. It's like that square.
Yeah, it's 8.5 by 8.5 square. It is soft bound, so it's stapled. It's not a hardcover or anything. Yeah, 8.5 by 8.5 square. 24 pages of story. The book itself will be 28 when you add in, title page and all that stuff.
Look at that family and how excited they are to read it.
Look at when your kids are in the car, have them put their phones away, pull out a Kor-drath book, have them read, grab the crayons, let them do the activity book, get them off their phones. That's the problem today. Everybody has their kids on their phone.
That's right. Now, did you guys ever pick up that there was a Marvel activity book? Do you remember that thing that had
they did more than one, didn't they?
Well, I remember the first one, but did you ever get one of those?
Yeah.
Because I did as a kid, and I did all the things.
I was gonna say, as a kid, there were several.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you got that type of thing in here. I love this, like, connect the dots. When I was a little kid, connect the dots to inform a picture. I just thought those were the coolest things. Crossword puzzle with, I'm sure, a bunch of dirty words in it. No, I'm kidding. Of course, it's not the adult version.
No,
it's all kid friendly.
They are age appropriate, and so for your early readers, as you're teaching them how to read, they are age appropriate for them to figure out, and it would be things they would understand dealing with the Christmas spirit.
There you go.
Yeah,
but
I asked Dennis's daughter. I said, "Is this crossword puzzle something your dad could do?" And she looked at it and goes, "Might be a little hard." And I said, "Perfect for a 5-year-old then."
So if it challenges Dennis, you're right on track.
I'm right over the target.
But you also got this adult version for those of us who want a little blood and guts in our Merry Christmas story. Is that right?
That's right. Of course.
Well, we had kicked out. We had started talking about doing this in our chat, and one of the days on our shows, and it actually came up during the show. Well, hey, that sounds like a fun idea, but if you do that, why don't you guys make an adult book that we could get and enjoy too? And we went, that's kind of an interesting idea. We weren't originally going down that way, but we started talking about it. And there we go.
I think that's a clever idea. I think it's pretty funny. This I'm really kind of fascinated by, these stand-ups. You got to get to 3,000, guys. We're not there yet, but so get in there and back this thing, and so we can all get like free little stand-ups.
And they're 8. The piece of paper it's on is 8.5 by 8.5 as well, so it'll fit right in. And then Kor-drath measures somewhere around 7, and she's a little bit shorter, of course, because she is in scale to size.
If this came out in the 70s, that we'd be setting these little stand-ups in our backyard and picking them off with a BB gun. But
sure,
can't do that now. I guess now you'd have to do it inside with a Nerf gun, right? So these are perfect for all sorts of target practice and different things.
6.5 inches tall.
Yeah.
We were always afraid of shooting our eye out.
That's right.
That's right. It's all fun and games till somebody loses an eye, Dennis.
One bad experience with lawn darts ruins it for everybody.
Yep, exactly.
Not one. I had many bad experiences. God, those were fun. I love lawn darts.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? Giving those things were so heavy, and they had like a spear on the end of them.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude!
You do not want to be giving these to kids, and yet that was the stuff we
played. I literally saw one at a toy show here a number of months ago, and I was like, "Oh my God, I've got to own this." So I walked over to it. The box was in bad shape. It still had the 2 rings, and it still had the 6 jarts because it was the jarts version, which is what I grew up with. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so curious." I'm like, "How much is it?" $400. And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, $400, dude. These are collectors." I'm like, "Seriously? You had me until you said $400."
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't pay that for it either. But wow.
Yeah.
Dennis is like, you had me when I first heard that because I thought it was going to end with $5, $45, but you ended it with 100.
Has there ever been like reported like a murder committed with those darts?
Because I don't know about a murder. Lots of accidents.
Well, yeah, I know, but that would be I gotta get rid of my neighbor right in the neck.
You know,
I'm surprised that. Well, probably back when we were kids, there wasn't as much killing going on as there is today. So it might be the murder weapon of choice. Could be like a Murder She Wrote episode, lawn darts of death. So Paul Taylor is contradicting me, saying not a very effective murder weapon. Okay. He's a biologist.
So, no murder was known. However, it was the grieving father, David Snow, whose 7-year-old daughter Michelle was killed by the lawn darts. That is what got it banned.
So she was actually killed, but it wasn't a murder.
Right. It was an accident.
Did you see this story about this woman who somehow got her boyfriend to zip himself in or get in a suitcase, and she zipped him up, and then she wouldn't let him out, and he suffocated and died, and now she's on trial for second-degree murder.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he was basically like, unzip it, and she wouldn't, right? So I mean, well, guess what? If he dies, that's murder.
Yeah, well, and it's like, who's dumb enough to get inside especially if your girlfriend is pissed at you, get inside. I mean, it's like, here, get inside this refrigerator, honey. It's like, no.
Well, you remember now, I'm pretty sure when we were growing up, refrigerators were safe from the standpoint of you could, if you were inside like a dummy, you could push it open. But back in the day,
those things
in the 50s, they had that latch and you couldn't. Yep. But even growing up, my parents were always, basically saying you never climb inside a refrigerator.
Yeah,
never.
That was like,
and those were just the old school, that ugly green, and they just pulled open. There was no latch.
Well, what used to happen was that when I was a kid, and I'm of course 10 years older than you is people would get their old refrigerators and they'd put them out along the side of their house, and they wouldn't necessarily chain them up. Then kids would come around and they'd play in them and they'd latch it in there and they'd get stuck in there and suffocate. So that was where that all came from.
Yeah, we actually had a kid in our neighborhood that had that happen.
There you go. So there's a lesson to be learned here, folks, in the chat. Do not climb inside suitcases or refrigerators. It's just not a smart thing. Unless you're Indiana Jones and you're trying to avoid a nuclear explosion, then you can climb inside one of those.
And you'll survive it.
That's right, because Indy did. Let's refresh this, see if we got any action here so far. Whoa, look at that, up to 1309. You got a few backers in there.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
We will we'll check in with us later, but right now we're going to do one of Dennis's favorite things. We're going to talk about desserts. I'm sorry, Dennis.
Hey, real quick,
a little shot at you.
I just want to show this. See if you have it.
There it is.
You've seen it. You probably have. So this is issue 7. It's Walt's first issue, inked by Wally Wood. That's the.
Oh my gosh, Walt Simonson inked by Wood. That's crazy.
So you've never seen this?
I have the first issue, but I remember this came out, but I've never looked at it like at
this
length.
is issue 7. So
right.
Jose was on it for 6 issues, and then Walt was on it up to 12, and I think his first issue of inking was maybe 10 or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, but look at that figure. Dude,
Yep.
that's a Walt pose.
Yep. But it's rounded off like a wood would do it. You know what I mean? So it's like you can see them both in there. Those wood faces you could always tell when he's inking something because he always kind of wooded up the faces.
Oh yeah, like if you would have asked me who drew this, I wouldn't have been able to told you Walt Simonson.
No,
if I didn't know.
No, especially this early in Walt's career, he was still sort of, defining his style.
Yeah. Well, now let me show you. Let me jump ahead instead of going through this whole issue. So you got the taste.
I know Manhunter was very stylized, but I mean, in terms of it wasn't anywhere near as angular as the stuff he ended up doing like in Thor and stuff. Do you think?
No. Oh no. Let me get to the issue he inked. And you'll be like, oh yeah, that's full blown Walt. All right, so it's not this one. I got to find which one it was. Oh, that's Walt and Bob Layton. What do you know? All right, it was probably issue 11.
I don't think there's certain guys that.
Dude, look at that. That is
okay. That's
Thor,
yeah.
Walt,
you're right.
but
you're totally right. You're totally right. I'm higher than a kite.
This is him. Look at that, dude. That's it's still not Thor, but
it's there.
If you would have asked me who drew this, I would have been like, oh, it's Walt Simonson.
Yep. I got, what issue is this?
This is number 11.
I got to pick this up. That looks great.
Yeah, he inked 11 and 12 over himself.
Okay, well then I'm going to have to get those.
Yeah,
because I knew he worked on this. I just hadn't really seen the artwork.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I think I have these two still. If I don't, I'll have to get them again. Kind of like
they can't be that expensive.
Oh no, they're dirt cheap.
Yeah. Look at that.
It's like those Mr. Miracles that Michael Golden drew.
I know.
Those aren't expensive.
No. It's the curse of DC, right?
Right. Stephen's asking who lettered it.
It almost looks like Workman with the beginning of it. Let's see. Did they even give credit for lettering back then?
I don't know. Well, yeah, because Orzakowski used to get credit in those Warlock books.
Oh, that's true. All right, well, it's not on the first page unless I'm missing it. That's the splash page. I don't see any credits.
No, maybe it's on the last page.
That's what I'm thinking. Unless, because we went through and there's no like big 2-page spread. Let me burn all the way down here. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
It just says words Carrie Bates, pictures Walt Simonson, colors Jerry Serpe. Let's just see what number 12 says since there is one to go. I love that ad, by the way.
I know. It was my favorite.
Yep.
That was
Jack Davis.
Yep.
That was great. And this is the very last issue.
It's Hercules Unbound. What year was that? 77? Okay.
Yep. And was it Manhunter before this?
Oh, yeah. It was like 74.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, and that was pretty much, you looked at it and was like, all right, let me get to the end.
Marcus
you pretty much looked at it.
Yeah, but it was more, his style was more, the line stuff was a little more scribbly, where it became more, I think, refined with Thor.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought maybe it might have been a little bit more able to be interpreted by Wood, but Wood might have just redrawn everything, and gone over it and screwed it. Or,
damn, no credits at all.
That tells you what they think of the book.
Yeah, right. Man. Oh well. Well, no credits.
Stippling Vaughn says looks like Workman. So
they did.
Hey, Marcus, Citizen, those soldiers were crap. I think a lot of us ordered those because they weren't even the good green ones you'd get from the dime store.
Oh, the little soldier guys?
Oh yeah, the $1.75 ones. Yeah. They were little flat things that came, and the trunk was this little cardboard box. Yeah.
All right, you guys, let's take a look at, just out of curiosity. Usually I would do a segment called Shelly Knows, and we'd see if she could guess what's the top 10, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to take a look at it because I want to be able to show the visuals, which I usually don't do. But these are the top 10 dessert places, and they can be like a donut shop or something like that nationally. So at number 10, hang on a second here. Why isn't this scrolling? Don't do this to me. Oh, there we go. Number 10, Krispy Kreme. Are you guys okay with that?
I mean, I don't mind Krispy Kreme, but it's really not one of my
love
favorite.
Krispy Kreme.
Do they do anything but just the standard glazed donut, or do they have other stuff in there?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They do. When we were in Scouts, we got a tour of the one of the, we'll call it the factory where where they make them. But you actually could, at the end, it would come out and you were able to put your hand down there, and they were so hot when they came out, but you could catch them if you wanted to. Oh, Krispy Kremes were the bomb.
Well, I've only been inside once, and I can't remember what the selection was, but anybody that ever has like a box of Krispy Kreme donuts, they're always these. They don't have like, I've never had anybody bring like Krispy Kremes over and have like a variety. It's always these regular glazed donuts, which are, I mean, they're so soft and doughy.
Oh, they have.
Daniel says
they did a chocolate peanut butter one that was so good. It was around the fall, I think. Yeah, no, they do specialty stuff, but they always have, because there's a Krispy Kreme right by us when I take Courtney to work. They have obviously the typical glaze, what they're known for, but they have so many others in there.
They're really the main competitor to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they're still very, very popular, but we don't have one close to our house. We have to drive about 20 minutes to get there. So there's other donut options near our house that would keep me from driving 20 minutes for these. But now, have you guys ever heard of Culver's? It's a Midwestern favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Across the country.
Dude,
you just hit Dennis's sweet spot.
You did. I actually want to go out. Also, great cheese curds, butter burgers, and then you finish it off with Culver's custard.
Oh, my gosh. Let's see here. They said that the custard is richer than ice cream and made right in each restaurant every day. Enjoy it as a simple scoop topped with hot fudge and other goodies.
They have a flavor of the day.
Culver's. I have never seen Culver's before, but I guess now it's going to be on my hit list. How about nothing but bunt cakes?
You guys got that here too.
Yeah,
those are good.
Those are good,
dude.
Yep.
Little bunt cakes. Oh my God! And a different flavor. There's one about 20 minutes from here.
Really? Flavors include lemon, carrot, snickerdoodle, confetti, and classic vanilla, among others. Cakes come in a range of sizes, 8, 10-inch, and tiered, alongside smaller buntlets, and even tinier buntitis by the dozen.
Buntitis sounds like you got a disease.
I know, but it's a good disease. It's sugary goodness. I do like those. The bunt cakes are really, really good. So that's number 8. Number 7, Tim Hortons. I've never heard of this. You guys familiar with this?
Timbits.
Yeah, it's Canada.
Yep.
Is it?
I just had them when I went up to Niagara Falls. We went in for a few days, and you have to stop and get your Timbits. Again, donuts, but Timbits are like the donut holes. That's what they call them.
Yeah, they're ask Graham about it. They're it's Canada, but it's also like up New York, so like Buffalo and stuff right by it. Because that's where I've gotten them from before, is when we've been in Buffalo before. They're just, I mean, they're huge, dude. They're just like, you put a Krispy Kreme next to it, you're like, whoa, what's that little baby donut doing?
I want a man's donut.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, dude. One of these will just fill you up big time.
Paul Taylor says Tim Horton was a defensive man for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He started this business and sold it before it went huge. Ooh, bummer. Got out too early.
But his name lives on.
Yes. How about that? Okay. Well, I'd never heard of these guys before, but that's good. Okay. Cold Stone Creamery. I do have one right around the corner here. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, it's like, okay, put some brownie in there, put a little peanut butter in there, or you take the chocolate and you put the cherry pie filling in there and hot fudge, and oh my gosh, yeah. I enjoy going to Cold Stone
every day. She would stop for her ice cream every day.
Cold Stone has coined the 10-minute vacation phrase when customers get into watching the brand's signature preparation of custom ice cream creation mixed on a frozen granite stone. True. Then enjoy the icy fruits of the singing staff's labor. Ice cream is freshly made in each store and mixed with your choice of cake, fruit, nuts, and candy, so you can have an apple pie a la mode or an Oreo overload of delicious fun. I do love Cold Stone Creamery. What do we got here? Number 5, Baked by Melissa. I've never heard of. Is this like a online thing?
No clue.
Says the handcrafted bite-sized treats from Baked by Melissa allow you to have your cupcake and eat it too. Choose signature mini cupcakes in chocolate, vanilla, tie-dye, or red velvet, or consider colorful double-stuffed macarons. Isn't that the guy who's in charge of France?
Yeah, I thought so.
Macaron, not macaroon.
Okay. Made with almond flour, which are naturally gluten-free. This has got to be a online.
It sounds foo-foo.
Yeah, I'm not convinced on this, but I'd try anything once. Daniel Russell says he ordered them for Halloween once. So there you go.
You did order.
Yeah, but you didn't say if they're any good or not. You just said you ordered them. But number 4, Insomnia Cookies. You guys ever heard of these guys?
Not Insomnia. Nope.
With more than 200 brick and mortar shops, that's a lot, and delivery of warm, melty cookies, Insomnia Cookies cures what ails you in the middle of the night. Fans appreciate consistency of quality across the locations and the fact that one can get warmed brownies, and cookies, cold milk, and ice cream sandwiches up to 3 a.m. Holy smoke. I did not know that. I've never heard of this place, but the fact that they're open until 3 a.m., I would think that I would know about it if there's one in this area, but I will check. Because if I can go someplace at 3 a.m. and get like something that's bad for me, I'm probably going to do it.
Like you're up at 3 a.m. Get out of here. All right, let me see.
I would get up at 3 a.m. to go get one of these. That's the thing.
Holy crap, we have them here.
Do you?
Oh, no way. Do we really?
Central Avenue, Trade Street, Hawkins.
Wait a second. Central Avenue, there's one?
Yep. And Tryon.
You guys better hit this up and let me know.
I'm looking now.
Delivery till 1. So 2 of them are delivery till midnight. 2 of them are delivery till 1 a.m.
So yeah, but they deliver till 1 a.m. Oh
yeah.
My goodness. Wow. Tim Mello says that's a stoner special. Yes, it is.
It would be. Now I don't know how expensive they are because that's probably it. You're stoned. Order it.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It's only 4 miles from where I live.
Jeez, you got no excuses. Tiff's Treats is a cookie chain from Austin that makes amazing cookies and delivers. Okay, there you go. If you're in Austin, Austin's kind of a foodie town, so that doesn't surprise me. Here we go. Number 3, Marble Slab Creamery. Never heard of this place either.
Dude, that Marble Slab is. I was actually going to bring that up with the other one.
Stone Cold, same thing.
Stone Cold, it's the same thing.
It's literally the exact same thing.
Okay. Well, then I guess I don't need it here because I've got the Stone Cold Creamery. So,
yeah, I mean, literally, they do the exact same thing. You tell them what you want in it, and the whole thing. Oh, it's on a marble slab, and they do all their mixing and crap on a marble slab and dump it in.
Okay, well, then the question is, who came first and who ripped off the other one? That's the question.
That is a good question.
I bet Stone Cold was first.
Oh, look at I don't agree with it. Number 2 is Baskin and Robbins.
No way.
Come on.
No way.
No way. They're the.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We grew up on Baskin and Robbins, but they're not like even in the top 5 ice cream, choices anymore. It's just like the McDonald's of ice cream, right? I mean, if you're in a pinch and you need an ice cream cone with 32 flavors, well, I guess there you go. But They actually have pretty good coffee, people tell me, although I'm not a coffee drinker. So.
Ew. Yeah, I've never gotten their coffee. I mean, every Baskin Robbins, at least here, I don't know if it's like this nationwide, but there's not standalone anymore. It's they're teamed up with Dunkin' Donuts. It's the same building, same store.
Well, that's the one thing I discovered. This the first time I'd ever seen it was in Florida when we were there at CrossGen. Is they had all these combo restaurants that I'd never seen before. Like you get like Taco Bell and Pizza Hut or whatever were in the same little thing, right? You know, and it was just like. So yeah,
seriously, Jerry Rasco, DQ's better than Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. My wife and I, we even went to their R&D headquarters, and you get this big tour of it. They got this playground thing out back. People come from hundreds of miles away to go here. She walked in. My wife's a lot like Andy. She likes her peanut butter and her chocolate and her ice cream.
Nailed it right there.
She walked in and she goes, "What do you have with peanut butter?" "We do not have peanut butter." "What? You have nothing with peanut butter in it?" "No." That was it. Don't ever have to go back.
Well, you can, at least you can still go to the peanut butter parfait at DQ.
That's right. Or get your dilly bar.
That's right. Oh, the
dilly.
You know what I used to like to take chocolate ice cream and have them dip it in the cherry.
Oh yeah.
And so then you get
the best.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
The cherry one is the bomb.
Yep. All right, here's your number. You guys got any guesses what number one might be? You've all heard of it, so it's not McDonald's.
No, because this is supposed to be like top 10 dessert places, and I don't consider Krispy Kreme a dessert place.
Dunkin' Donuts.
What would you consider it? You don't go there to get an entree for dinner. I mean,
it's breakfast. I think seriously. I think of donut places as something you stop in for breakfast.
Well, is it Dunkin' Donuts?
What is it? Dunkin' Donuts.
It is, in fact. Drum roll, please.
Friendly's.
Crumble.
Cookies. Oh no!
Crumble.
Dude, there's one right next to the Marshalls my daughter works at.
My daughter used to work at a Crumbles. These are so good. I mean, they are. And they're big and they're expensive.
Yeah,
but they are good. Paul Taylor said, "I never heard of it." Ah, you poor Canadian. That's just
they are now. They are expensive, but you know, you get what you pay for in this one.
Well, they're huge. They're big. They're almost like a piece of cake. You know, they're just And they change the flavors every week. They have like 6 flavors, new flavors every week.
Wait, they change them once a week? I thought it was almost daily. Is it really weekly? I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's weekly.
Okay.
Because I always remember asking my daughter, what do you guys got this week? It wasn't what have you got today. I think it's weekly. But I didn't actually work there, so but I'm pretty sure it was weekly. Daniel Russell says insomnia is better. Okay, well, I'm going to look for insomnia cookies and see if we can.
Well, now we can find out because there's one 2 miles from me and there's one 4 miles from me.
Well, I think you guys need to do a taste test and let us know at some
point. Well, you can get, I did look them up. You can get a border box of 12 cookies for $36.75 plus delivery.
I looked it up too, yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I looked up the flavors. I already closed the tab. None of their flavors for, I guess, this week or today at least at Insomnia were ringing my bell.
Well, you got to wait. Got to wait for the right one. That's for sure. They do occasionally have some weird flavors, and you're like, man, I'm going to wait. I got to have something with chocolate in it. If it doesn't,
I like taking a chocolate chip crumble, bringing it home, chucking it in a microwave, throwing a lot of peanut butter, Reese's peanut butter ice cream on top, some hot fudge, some peanut butter sauce.
Oh my gosh.
I am just a chocolate chip cookie fan. That is my favorite cookie. And the better you make them, that's all I can say. That's all I need. I don't need any of these fancy cookies. Just give me a good old chocolate chip.
Amen to that, brother. What am I looking
at? There you go. Aaron.
Back it yet?
This is your chance. Andy and I are backing it this week.
$2 million?
Yep. So
how much is oh my $700? Forget it.
So
dude, it sells. Dennis, tell them what it sells for.
So the original Enterprise, this is the second one they've done. The first one was the original TOS Enterprise, which of course you all know. A lot of you do. I bought it. It's sitting, I've got pictures. It's sitting over here. It's die cast, weighs 28 pounds. It fully lights up. It's 36 inches long by 18 inches high. It is fantastic. Everything lights up, every detail. We paid, it was $700 plus $50 shipping. My wife allowed me to get one after much convincing by one of my friends. And he said, Susie, you should let Dennis buy 2 of them because he could turn around and sell the other one and pay for it. She's like, no, not happening. He can have his one. So it came. It was fantastic. You can check out on my YouTube channel. I've got an unboxing. I've got an assembly one. And then I have a completed one of it. It's great. This is the second one. Same exact statistics. Everything about it. It is the motion picture version of it. They've now got 3,305 backers. It just went live 3 days ago. And they've already beat their goal, which already beat their first one. The quality is great, but yeah, you can. This is just fantastic stuff.
Now, how much is the one that you paid $750? How much is that going for now?
It was selling on eBay. You can pull them up right now for $1,701, $1,701 to $2,000.
$1,701. I get it.
Yep, and that's
beautiful. Look at that. Oh,
that's why Dennis is buying one for himself, and we're going to split the cost of a second one. And as soon as we get it, resell it.
You have to sell it to me. Just sell it to me for an inflated price. Just stick it to me because
we will. Well,
or you could just back this one and save some money.
So, like the first one, it has the shuttlecraft now, and the door pops off on the original one, and it came with all 3 of the original shuttlecrafts that were mentioned throughout the original series. This one has the light up shuttlecraft door also. And this one comes with the Vulcan shuttle Serac. So you can see I've got like a little one right here. But that's what this one's going to come with from the motion picture.
Right, because Spock came aboard on that, right?
Yeah, I actually have the original blueprints for the Enterprise above me and the Vulcan shuttle Serac right next to it. And guys, this looks fantastic. There's your deflector dish. It's in low power mode, just like in the motion picture where the engines start coming on. They start powering up the deflector dish, and it does turn blue. So you'll be able to, as the warp engines start kicking in, it turns blue. The impulse engines completely light up.
Look how big that is.
I am telling you, go watch my videos of the first one and you will do. So this one is 85% die cast, 15% plastic. They replicated the iridescent paint from the original studio model, just like they did on the first one, where they actually had the Smithsonian guys come in and replicate the exact painting that the Smithsonian model is.
Well, they should hire you as a spokesman, Dennis, is what they should do.
The worst part about it is, scroll back. I want to see that picture. Go back. No, down some. Right there. The worst part about it is they worked in Gay Pride Month.
Leave it to Andy.
I thought maybe it was the Dark Side of the Moon album cover, perhaps, but no.
Yep.
This is that.
1/350th scale, so you can see it. It's almost 36 inches. It's almost the exact same size as the other one I got. 20 pounds.
Well,
guys, this is just cool stuff. It's worth the money.
I'll tell you, I would have got the original one that you got, except the shuttlecraft didn't have a big caveman hanging on it. If they'd had a caveman hanging on it, I would have got it. It's the little things, Dennis, that make the difference with me. The little details. Okay. Well, that's spectacular. Thank you for sharing that. It makes me. If it had $700,
Tommy, I'm telling you, it is worth it. It's up for however many more days, and then they announced when they shipped the first one. I got multiple emails. You tracked it. It came in a huge outer box. Then you pulled it out. That was in there. Oh, it's just, they did such a good job. And I can't wait. This should be my last one, though, because this is my favorite ship of all time. The TOS Enterprise is my second favorite ship of all time. So I should be done after that.
You know, it's my favorite Christmas book of all time is Kor-drath.
That's right.
Christmas Miracle. Yeah, that's what we're here promoting today. This is these fine gentlemen's 30-day closeout on this children's book. Andy, tell us a little bit about it, will you?
Sure. Kor-drath the Christmas Miracle is a fine little tale for kids about the wonders of Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, and Black Eagle's tribe, Kor-drath and Adriana, are inside putting up the decorations, trimming the tree. Adriana turns. She's got a beautifully wrapped box in her hand to give to Kor-drath, and he's like, wait, before you, I've got to go run an errand. She's like, what? Kor-drath forgot to get her present. He's got to go on this little journey. I know. He's got to go on this little journey through the snow-swept forest of right surrounding the tribe to get her the perfect Christmas gift. He runs into a few friends, some not so friendly, and eventually, does he get her the perfect gift? Will he get back in time with it? You have to get Kor-drath the Christmas Miracle to find out. And it's perfect for the little ones. If they're just beginning to read, they'll be able to read this book. I made sure there weren't, Dennis wrote it, and I looked at it, and I showed it to the little children and said, can you read this? And they said, we can. And we were like, that's perfect. So there's no big words in it. Plus, Dennis wrote it. He can't write big words.
That's right.
So it's perfect for the 4 or 5-year-old. Of course, you can always read it to your child. I saw Paul Taylor's comment earlier about there's no way that baby's reading that book. He's not. That's what mom is for.
Yeah.
To read him a little bedtime tale.
Now, this activity book is a separate book. Is that correct? It comes with it, or you can order with it?
The main book is, of course, in full color, 8.5 by 8.5. The activity book is 8.5 by 8.5. Instead of it being 28 pages, the activity book is going to be 36 or 38 pages. It's going to have the whole story in black and white with the text, so you can still read it as they color. And it'll have connect the dots, word search, crossword puzzles, fun things like that. So you can take the phone away, give them some crayons, and have them color and just old school it like we did as kids.
That's right. Those were the good old days, man. Bring them back. Now,
that's right.
If you're an adult reader, Andy, what can you offer our friends out there in the audience?
Well, we tweaked the story some. There's no adult stuff when it comes to sexy sex. It's all the gore. It's all the violence that Kor-drath is known for in the main book, The Reckoning, and now The Awakening, live on Indiegogo. So as you can see, a before and after on the left, we've got the nice page where Kor-drath runs into a bear on his travels. And he's like, hey, buddy, you look a little hungry. Good thing in my pouch, I've got some Christmas cookies Adriana made. I was going to save them for myself, but I'm a sharing type. Here you go, little buddy. But on the right-hand side for the adults, Kor-drath is like, Daddy needs his nourishment so you can eat my knife. I'll give you a cookie right in your eye socket, you big bear.
Oh, I love it.
So that is, and there's roughly 5 pages that are swapped out. And of course, the text on those 5 pages changes as well to fit the story. Sure. But the quest is all the same. Will he get that perfect gift for Adriana?
So this is really a 3-book collection, right? You've got the children's book here. Yep. Then you've got your activity book that still has the children's story. The story is still in it, but you get the extra activity stuff. And then, of course, the adult version for your own mature amusement.
That's right. And you can get them all for $37, which is roughly 11% discount. So save some money.
Yeah. So this gets to 3,000 folks. And then you get these cutout things, which you can, as we spoke about earlier, set them in the backyard and do BB gun practice, or maybe inside with a Nerf gun.
Well, it's Kor-drath. You could go out and get a little bow and arrow set for the youngster.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Light the tip of the bow, light the tip of the arrow on fire,
Yeah.
and there you go.
I'm liking it. So get in there and back that. Get in there and back these people. If I know we have an older crowd on this show, so if you got grandkids,
yeah. Petey Ma's asking the question: can you get Kor-drath Christmas into Scholastic? Here's the thing. This is what I've been really looking into and researching. Scholastic does not accept anybody outside. You have to have a literary agent in order to even be considered to look into it. And a lot of your book companies are that way. It literally requires a literary agent. So we are looking at alternative ways to do it. And we will see where it comes down, but this way, crowdfunding, this is the way we're going to do it for now, and we will see, because honestly, this was a lot of fun to do. And, if this one were to take off, people on our show were like, you could do a Christmas special. Yeah, we could have Kor-drath taking out the Great Pumpkin, cutting, Charlie Brown in half. Oh, wait, that'd be the adult version.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would like to do a Christmas one every year, because the nice thing is we're shipping this in November. If we wanted to do another one, we can get right on it. It gives us another, a year, because we basically started this back in January, and right in time for Christmas again, and keep a tradition going. So we will have to see. Paul Taylor got the 3-pack. Thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
you guys, everyone tonight that has backed it so far.
Yeah, we've had some backing going on here. Let's see if we can get this to 1,500 for the end of this show. That would be a great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And also, we have a healthy audience right now. So, you guys, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please do so. It helps the channel grow, so I can continue to provide you with more information on the favorite restaurants and donut places that I'm sure you all want to know. Okay. The link is in the description of this video, as well as Kit Carter Planet Doom, and early sign up is now active for Wraith of God 3. So check all the links in the description of this video, and sign up, do all that stuff. Support your local CGer, and that would be us.
That's
okay.
right.
So you may be thinking, gosh, Aaron, this show is so full of goodness. How could you possibly have anything more? I do have more. And, we're going to take a look at a little segment I do every week called Who's This Guy? So now we're going to take a look at some art. Love that jazz. Okay. James Bama. Some of you, probably a lot of you guys know who he is, but if you don't, you're about to find out. Let me pull up his little bio here so I can read along as we look at his art. Now, James Bama was a commercial illustrator in the New York area. And in about 1971, I believe it was 72, he moved to Wyoming. He had a friend that he would go and visit on his ranch in Wyoming. He said he never had any sort of aspirations of becoming a Western artist or a fine artist, but they fell in love with Wyoming, and eventually, shortly thereafter, I think 74, moved to Wyoming, and he became a fine artist and left his commercial work behind him. And in fact, most people know him now. He passed away 2 years ago at the ripe old age of 96, which is amazing. But he, most of you probably, if you know of him, you either know him from his paperback cover work, or you know him as a Western fine artist. But some of the stuff, if you want to go way back, Graham Nolan will tell you all about these. I caught the tail end of these. I don't think you guys were old enough. Maybe you were, but these Aurora model kits.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't. Yes, I've seen them. When you say you caught the tail end, you mean when they were in stores, new and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've only seen them at like toy shows and such.
Yeah, they showed up at some of these were Kmart in like the last leg when I was a kid, like late 60s, very early 70s. They were still floating around a little bit, but this is probably the thing that got him at least in our circles, comic book circles and fantasy circles, this is stuff that got James Bama notoriety, is the work he did on these universal model kits. And I believe this was, God, this could have been as early as like 63 or 64. I can't remember when these things came out. But anyway, let me tell you a little bit about James Bama. He an interesting story before I get into that. I was approached, oh God, this was years ago at San Diego, and someone had done a documentary on him, and they were trying to launch a series on like PBS or something of commercial artists, right? And so they gave me the pilot, which was James Bama, because I was a big Bama fan. And actually, this guy actually gave me, Steve Holland was his main model for Doc Savage. He gave me his entire Steve Holland catalog of photos. They were all Xeroxed, but photos he used for Doc Savage. I think I still have those laying around here somewhere.
Cool. How many is that? Like, you think?
It's about that thick.
Wow. That's like about 100, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And but this guy, and they were unable to sell the series, and I could understand why, because I watched it and I was just riveted, but I'm an artist and most people might find it boring. But I loved it, but they only did the one pilot episode featuring James Bama. Here's a piece that maybe Dennis knows about. I don't know if
I was going to ask Aaron, did you ever buy those models and put them together?
No, because they had the Marvel models too. About the time those monster things were kind of going out, the Marvel ones were coming in. There was like Spider-Man was webbing Doc Ock to the floor, and he was on a staircase. Remember that? And there was I got that one and put it together. There was a Captain America one. So I was kind of more fixated, although I was a big monster kid, but superheroes were this new thing that I had recently discovered. Sure. So I was just totally fascinated with those. And those are the ones I actually got. Dennis, have you seen this before? Oh, that's not a very good copy. Darn it. This was a Star Trek paperback, like the first, you know how they had numbered paperbacks?
Yeah.
This was the first one, and Bama did the cover for it. You've never seen this, huh? Or have you?
No, I have. I'm looking to see if I'm wondering if I have that.
Well, you should get it if you don't.
Do you remember what the paperback was called?
It was called Star Trek.
Because it was, they had like the captain's logs. Give me. I'm gonna go look. Hang on.
Yeah, I've got it. I have to go dig it out though. I can't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, I wanted to share that. Now, most people probably know him for his Doc Savage, which we'll get to in a minute. But have you ever seen, he did a couple of movie monster covers. Like, have you seen this one, Andy? Look how good that is.
Holy crap.
That's Frederick March as Mr. Hyde from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the 1931 version. And so you want to get a novelization of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Robert Louis Stevenson, book with that cover on it, which I was able to find a copy of this as well. But his patented monochromatic approach, which he used in a lot of his paintings and almost all of his paintings were, this is all pretty much done in greens.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, let me give you a little background on him. He was born in 1926. He grew up copying Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon comic strip. How about that? And he went to New York's High School of Music and Art and entered the armed forces, working as a mechanic, a mural painter, and physical training instructor. When he was discharged, he went back to New York City and studied drawing and anatomy at the Art Students League. And beginning in 1951, so that would have been what? He would have been 25 years old? Yes. He was an illustrator at New York's Charles E. Cooper Studios for 15 years. His first paperback cover was Nelson Nye's A Bullet for Billy the Kid. And he had a 22-year career as a successful commercial artist working for Argosy, which was a men's magazine, and they had illustrated stories in there. Saturday Evening Post, Reader's Digest, and he even worked for the New York Giants football team, Andy. We know you've worked for the Chicago Bears.
That's right. Yeah, Marcus actually said that in the chat. I wonder what he did for him.
Yeah, that's interesting. His first Man of Bronze, Doc Savage book cover, The Man of Bronze, 1964, and he did 62 covers for Doc Savage, often using actor Steve Holland who was TV's Flash Gordon from 1954 and 55. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Now, somebody in the chat posted this, and I actually did know this. You know, there's a book out just about Steve Holland, right?
I didn't know that, but I did see that in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Check this out. Speaking of monsters, this one blows me away. Now, this is based on the original makeup for Frankenstein, which they determined was too scary, and so they changed it, like this big old bolt in his head and that big scar right there. And the censors, or their fear of censorship in 1931, they felt that the Karloff, this makeup was too frightening, so they actually dialed it back a little bit. But this is the actual first makeup. That's
they should have went with that. I mean, you know, with never seeing this, you just see the Karloff one, it's still kind of a shock because you've never seen anything like that before. But this, I honestly, I look at this, like I look at the Karloff one, or I can remember it well enough to go, that would never even work today. Mm-hmm. That could work today.
Yeah, it's creepy looking. And another sepia tone monochromatic painting, just super effective. Here's an interesting story about Bama. As I said, he had a friend named Bob Myers, who was an illustrator for many years, and he had a cabin out and a ranch out in Wyoming, and they would go out there and visit him and his wife. And it said he would start painting Western subjects during the daytime at night, while during the daytime doing his freelance illustration works. Flip that. Westerns during the day, and then he'd do his painting work at night. And this is a quote from Bama. He says, "I never came out here with the idea of being a Western artist. It just happened, and I guess that's the way it should be." Now, this is an interesting twist. In 1970, they don't give any details, so I'm kind of curious about looking this up. In 1970, Bob Myers was murdered, and his widow, Helen, moved off the ranch. But the Bamas moved to a house on Dunn Creek, about 20 miles outside of Cody, in 1971. And that's when he connected with a New York art dealer and began to abandon his commercial illustration career and start doing fine arts. And that's what he did for all the way up until, he painted well into his 80s, and he quit. He retired because he couldn't bring it anymore. He didn't feel he could bring the quality that he had. So I think the last about 10 years of his life, he wasn't painting, at least professionally or for fine arts.
Right.
Let's take a look at some of these great Doc Savage covers he did. I've got every single one of these paperbacks.
Do you really?
Yep. I just see, he would take Steve Holland and then he would beef him up, in a lot of these. And I always thought, cool. I know he'd always have these like super dramatic poses to put Doc in. And he almost always had Doc Savage facing the reader with whatever menace was behind him, but he still was able to integrate them, and I thought that was, this is maybe his most famous. I don't know. It depends.
I never had any of those.
I've got one.
This is Phantom City, I believe. As an Aztec story, but Graffiti did a series of prints with Bama, Doc Savage prints, and he actually signed them, and I got most of them. They were like $100 for just the print. And then if you wanted the signature, I think it was 150, something like that. Came out in the 90s, as I recall. Of course, these are all oil paints. This is another good one.
Doc Savage book. Did he do all of them? Because I've got one called, I can't even read the spine, and it's under a bunch of books, called The Land of Terror.
Yeah, that's Land of Terror is him. But there was a guy we covered earlier in one of these segments, like months ago when I first started it. In fact, he might have been the first guy we did. His last name is Pfeiffer, and he took over for Bama, and he did some really cool, very stylized painting technique for laying the paint down. Very angular, but really, really, really cool. So he didn't do all of them. And then Bob Larkin did some as well, but Bama did the most of them. So anyway, this is the World's Fair Goblin. And as you can see, he's using two light sources here. Yeah. And he's got this sort of yellowish, greenish, orange, bluish, somewhere in that neighborhood. So he's using two colors really instead of just the one, but really effective. Because that blue on there really makes that work. Again, Steve Holland.
So would he be considered the first person to illustrate a picture of Doc Savage?
No, but
because I'm wondering who gave him that widow's peak that goes down to
that was Bama, because he did him. Yeah, on the first book cover he had regular hair, and the editor was like, God, we need something that feels a little bit more sci-fi. So he gave him that helmet widow's peak look, and that became what Doc Savage looked like. Now, how does this relate to comics? Well, he actually did the cover. I have this comic.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, no, this was, I think, probably taken from the Thousand-Headed Man cover, if I'm not mistaken. It could be. I don't think he did this particular painting for this comic book cover. I think they just used a portion of one of his paintings from one of his book covers for this. But still, it's cool.
Now, I wonder who did the guts to it. Is it any good?
No.
They were hit and miss.
Man, it was like 1965 or 66. I haven't opened it up in a long time. It's not slab, so I actually could open it up, but I can't remember. But I don't remember it being very good. But it's not why I got it. So, all right. So then, like I said, he moved into Western art. Gosh darn it. I hate it when I forget to. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, we'll just take a look at these real quick. This is one of my favorite ones he did. But so he would set up and do these like photo shoots. Then, but everything he did was, he's an American realist, I guess, is what he categorized him as. But this is his fine art stuff. And it just goes to show you that fine arts doesn't have to suck.
No.
Now,
that's your PSA announcement.
That's right. You can actually do good work and still be considered a fine artist.
Does not have to suck.
But he would go out and find people that were interesting to paint. Like, look at this dude.
Wow.
Look at that shirt and the overalls and stuff. It's just like freaking, it might as well be a photograph. Now,
yeah, I know.
Some of the stuff that Bama did, I wasn't as big a fan of because it wasn't as dramatic as I would have liked to have seen it. And again, it's fine arts, and they try to push away from doing like if you were doing like a Lewis and Clark rafting down rapids, right? And like a log raft, you and I would probably take a low angle, make it super dramatic. And I actually talked to a fine artist once, and he was like, no. He goes, normal people that hang this stuff on their wall, they want kind of like this kind of serenity, a picture that they can, that's from an angle, a point of view that they understand, that's normal to them.
Right.
If you try to make something overly dramatic, then a lot of people will reject that buy this stuff. Which
I never thought of that.
But in today's market, I mean, that was a conversation I had with somebody 20 years ago. So who knows? Val Mayrick is having some success with doing cowboys and dinosaurs in the fine arts market. So, it's a smaller market, but there's still some people that are interested in that stuff.
Jesus, that's like a photo too.
I know. This guy's amazing. But the the thing with him, because his stuff is so photographic, sometimes his stuff comes off as guys in costumes as opposed to someone from that time period. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
So you have to get the right ones. And the right look. Now, this one I really like. This is a really, he didn't really do a lot of, like, McGinnis did a lot. Robert McGinnis does like a ton of really interesting compositions. Bama is more about the subject, but this was a great composition. So I really like this one.
Oh, wow.
Hey, look at those rocks and the snow and stuff. It's just amazing.
I know. It's weird because, like, the horse and the rider give me a photorealistic feel, but then the rocks and snow and everything are more graphic. Like, I don't get that same photorealism from it, but it still works as a whole.
Yeah.
I love the textures and stuff on the rocks.
Yeah.
Like, how big are these things? Any idea?
They're not like mural side or anything, like the giant ones, you'd see like at the Louvre, you go in there and you just freak out 'cause you can't believe how the big,
but it's still probably at least 2-3 feet across.
Yeah, they're but I've seen him work on some of these, and they're generally, again, it depends, right? But like if he's doing a portrait or something, it usually looks like it's in that sort of 18 to 24 inch range. Something manageable, because he works with these tiny brushes to do this, or he worked, with these tiny brushes to do this just incredible detail. So you can't imagine that they were ever really too big.
My question was, how long would it take him to do one of those with that kind of detail?
That I don't remember. I still have the video. I should check it out. I haven't watched it in years, but.
You're talking about the pilot?
Yeah.
See, I wonder if that's on YouTube.
It might be. I think they ran it on they got PBS to run it just one time, but so it might be available. Now, one of the things that's interesting that he made a trip to China. I think it might have been it was either the 80s or early 90s. He did a trip to China and did a series of paintings based on the photographs he took there. And so he had this period where he had been doing nothing but Western art. Then he did these I guess Chinese paintings. And
that shirt.
I know. I know. Like these little details on that
Good Lord. This is why, and once again, I can appreciate this, but if you gave me a choice, kind of like you were doing with the comics earlier, between this and a JC Leyendecker, I'm going Leyendecker all day.
Oh yeah, me too. Except for some of the Doc Savage pieces.
No, I'm not even counting those in the mix though, because it's like he went, let's see how realistic I can get, and it's like, you should have pulled back some.
Yeah, give me some stylization in there to make it more
stylization, like those Doc Savage covers.
Now that was the only criticism I would ever have of Bama, is that he was just too photorealistic. That because I like a little bit of that stylization, and in fact, I think I've said this before, that Leyendecker was kind of a comic book artist of illustrators. If you look at the way he exaggerated his characters and stuff like that, you could almost see it as painted comic art.
Totally.
I love Leyendecker, just for that reason. But anyway, so he did a series of these Chinese paintings and went back to Western art, and then retired, and then passed away, like I said, 2 years ago at the age of 96. So, but I thought we'd take a look at Bama's art, because he's always been, I discovered his stuff when I was a kid going to bookstores, and you'd look on they had the Frazetta Conan paperbacks, and then they'd have the Doc Savage ones, and there was also a lot of Western ones that, like Louis L'Amour books that Bama did. And those are the first things I saw of his. I thought, man, that guy's really good. Then I saw the Doc Savage stuff, and I was like, okay, it's a perfect combination for me. Superhero but super.
Oh yeah. Did you? So did you buy Doc Savage when Marvel put it out?
Yep.
I
sure as heck did. Ross Andrew interiors.
Yep.
The first cover was Buscema, I think. The second 2 and 3 were Stranko, And then Rich Buckler did several of the covers as well. There was a Gil Kane one in there. I think there's a couple Gil Kanes in there, inked by Palmer.
Did you get? Well, I've got the trade paper. I've got the trade paperback. I do like that first issue because of Ross. In the John Buscema cover, and then I got the Andy and Adam Kubert limited series from DC.
Sequential Treasures also grabbed these for me for my spinner rack. So this is 7 and 8.
Oh yeah,
Brand of the Werewolf. This Buckler cover right here is awesome. That 8 was the last issue.
Look at that! Look at that leg spread on that cover that's red. It's like, dude. Oh my god!
I know.
My crotch. Ow.
Dude, it's so yeah, I think it looks like he inked himself. I thought maybe Adkins had inked it, but and then this is Buckler. This is Buckler and Rich Buckler inked by Klaus Janson.
On the inside, or you mean the cover?
The cover.
Yeah.
Let's see what's I think it's yeah, it looks like Palmer. No, wait a minute. Frank Springer inked it. So it's Ross Andrew inked by Frank Springer.
Oh, that is so freaking cool.
Yeah, I love Doc Savage, man. Let's see if we can get some make a little Ross Andrew kicking those Canadian butts. You see that, Paul Taylor? That's what happened.
God, that is so nice. When we're done, I'm gonna have to pull mine off. I'm pretty sure the trade paperback I have collects all of it because there weren't that many issues, right?
No, there's only 8.
Yeah,
of course,
so I have got to collect
all these in near mint, of course.
Well, of course.
Now, wait a minute. Who's this? Hang on a second.
8's not a bad number. I could collect 8. I like getting runs of books that are short.
Now, this is Tom Palmer. Tom Palmer and Jack Abel did the inks over Rich Buckler here in the breakdown. So Buckler did this issue, the last issue. There's some good shots in here. It's hard to know if since Buckler was doing it, if he didn't swipe it from somebody, but I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, should I?
That's okay.
I love that panel right there with this werewolf looking over and guys.
Well, you'll appreciate this, Aaron. I don't know if I told you this or not on a live stream or on a phone call. I picked up, I can't remember the name of the book, but it's the first appearance in Marvel of the Living Mummy.
Oh, dude.
And that is drawn by Rich Buckler. That's one of the reasons I got it.
Well, hang on a second.
The art inside was awesome.
Wait a minute.
I don't remember the issue number. Oh, wait. I got my phone right here.
Are you talking about you're talking about supernatural thrillers, right?
Yeah. What number is it?
All those. Rich Buckler did the interiors. I thought Val Merrick.
Nope. He did the interior to the first appearance of the Mummy, and then when the Mummy came back, it was drawn by somebody else.
All right, but Merrick took over at the end because I've got I'm trying to look for it now. I just cleaned up my desktop, and now I can't find anything.
Let's see.
It's like I just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it. What is that?
Where is it? Come on.
There's doggone it. No, I can't find it. I guess I should have prepared. I guess I'll save. Oh, here it is. I'll save it for when Val Merrick comes on my show, which he's going to come on my show, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice. Now I'm trying to. I know I recorded
Check this out.
it. Supernatural Thrillers number 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's the first appearance of the Living Mummy.
Yep, and it's Rich Buckler, inked by Frank Chiaramonte.
Okay, well, check this out. This is Supernatural Thrillers number 8 from 1974. My favorite splash page of Val Merrick. Mummy in space. Cool. Come on.
That's cool. No, that's cool.
And he lands on this planet. He went through this dimension or something. He lands on this planet, and he's fighting these mud men. It's just so awesome. It's like,
I get the fact that, he's obviously, he's a mummy, he's not alive, whatever. But, the vacuum of space still does stuff to a body. It doesn't matter
Well, I'm thinking that maybe it's like he's being transported there. You know what I mean? So maybe he's protected in some sort of way.
But see, the thing is, like, so I don't know if you remember his origin in the first issue, or issue 5, but I liked it because I'm like, man, this mummy is jacked. What the hell? So I read it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know, I can't remember the bad guy's name, but the bad guy basically takes whoever the mummy originally was and just gives them this potion to where he's not dead. It's the whole point of he's the living mummy because he's like, you're going to be buried now alive and you will never die.
Yes.
So then he can still be jacked out like he was when he was, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, it's cool.
I love that series, man. It was one of my favorites. I loved it. But again, I was a monster guy. So it was anything they did that was monster, that was well drawn, I'm like, yes.
And just like today, it starts off, that first issue, I'm not making this up, issue 5 starts off, it's this man and woman, and it's they're basically talking about the continuing fight between Israel and Palestine.
It's a never-ending tragedy.
I am not making that up at all. I read that first page and I was like, oh, it's from the 1970s.
Just keeps on going. All right. So speaking of things that are still going, let's visit our friends at Kor-drath Christmas Miracle Children's Book. That's what we're here for, the 30-day closeout.
That's right.
So we've got the children's book, which, how many pages is this again, Andy?
It'll be printed 28, but it's 24 story, and then there's the credit page, and because it's a kid's book, so it's set up a little different.
All right, and there's some page samples in there. Look at that happy family reading it.
That's right.
But there's more than just that. You've also got this coloring and activity book, which I think is a great idea. That you can get with this. Of course, it's the same size, and it's a little bit bigger because it has the story in it as well as the activity stuff. So it's like 36 pages or something.
36 to 38. We're still figuring that out. Got to put it together, paginate it, whatever you call it.
Yep. So, and if you're sitting there saying, "My gosh, I can't take this kids stuff," well, there's the adult version as well. So how does it work exactly? You took certain pages and
we went through the story and realized that there were pages we could swap out. I mean, I redrew some pages, other pages I was able to do like a patch on the page, and want to do something for the adults with the violence that everybody loves in the Kor-drath book. And of course, the text is different for these pages.
They did request Kor-drath violence.
Yeah. And of course, text is different. So
we got to fight our way here to 3,000 here, so we can get these cutouts, stand-ups.
That's right. Just another fun activity for the kids. When Dennis tested them out, I sent him home with it to test out, and I sent him home with a pair of child-safe scissors so he didn't cut himself.
Right. You don't want him to cut himself.
Right. Nope. He's got to be able to type on a keyboard, and if you give him real scissors, forget it.
Yeah, you're in trouble. I can see that.
Yep.
So anyway, you guys, let's see if we can squeeze this to 1,500 before the end of this show. Let's see what happens here. Oh, look at that. 70 away from 1,500.
Yeah, baby.
That's only a couple more backers. Come on, you guys. You haven't backed yet. Get in there and back this. If you don't have any kids, get the adult version and admit it to yourselves. You want that activity book, because even as an adult, everybody loves activity books. I'm tempted just to go, I should just get the activity book.
They do.
Dude, they do. Yeah, well, the bonus behind the activity book is you get to see the story in black and white.
There you go. That's right. So it's kind of like an artist edition with activities.
Yeah. So, and if you want to color it, just color it Kor-drath however you want to, because you have that option.
That's right.
Break out your 64 pack or your 128 pack of Crayola crayons with the sharpener in the back.
And the next time you take the kids to a restaurant and they give you one of those cheapo menus and crayons, you're like, I don't need the menu. Just give me the crayons. My kid's good to go.
He's got Kor-drath. And
that's right.
If you're an adult, you don't have to admit to anybody you bought the activity book, but what you could do is you could scan the black and white art in there and you could color it yourself and practice on Photoshop or whatever coloring program you use. So look at that. It's like a black and white portfolio and an activity book. So,
well, Captain Bipto, there are mazes too. We did a couple mazes in there as well.
Oh, see, look at that.
Mazes, word searches, dot to dots.
I'm sold.
Yeah, baby.
Now, if I can, I don't want to. I definitely do not want to steal your guys' thunder today, but I do want to point out that. Excuse me 1 second here. I have, of course, Kit Carter is still live, but it'll only be live for another week. So the, I finally get Kelsey turned in the rest of the colors. It should be lettered, I would think, no later than Tuesday. Get it proofread, and then any lettering changes that need to be made, then formatted and to the printer. So, I mean, we are ready to rock and roll. So get in there and back Kit Carter. You'll find the link in the description of this video, but also, Wraith of God 3 Fear Hollow early sign up is now active. I'm going to try and launch this at the end of August. We'll see how it goes as I'm scrambling to get covers done and different art done that I can use on the campaign page because I've been so immersed working on Kit Carter stuff. But the sign up is early. You're going to get a exclusive trading card. I don't even know what it is yet, but it'll be cool. The previous ones have been like the little robot Click from Power Cubed, Merv the Astro Chimp, and then the very first campaign we had was one of those old style uncoated baseball cards of the Wraith of God. So the trading cards you get are of cool characters that you're not going to be able to get in my regular trading card set. So it's worth signing up. It doesn't cost anything. Just stick your email address in there, and then you'll be on the list. And when you order, you'll get that free exclusive card. So as I continue to build my card collection to be an epic Empire Universe card collection set. So anyway, the link's in the description of this video. So I don't have a video on here yet because I don't have any artwork to give to my videographer to make me a trailer, but I will have one soon. But please do sign up. It doesn't cost anything, and you'll find the link in the description of this video as well.
I signed up.
Thank you. Andy's.
I have now. I don't know what you have up next, Aaron, but I found this fascinating. I actually retweeted it, X'd it, whatever you call it. It's a thread, and it's animals that will surprise you with their actual size, and it shows like an animal. If you want to see, it's free. Like, I didn't know how big some of these animals were.
Yes, I'd actually like to incorporate that in what we're going to do next. All
right, let me.
This is the part of the show that everybody waits for because they're amazed at the world we live in and the exclusive videos that I'm able to bring them about strange creatures that they've never seen before. We like to call this segment We Keep Searching. Maybe someday we'll actually find one. All right. So before we get into the weird and the unusual, let's take a look at nature. And Andy's got some photos here of some giant animals, apparently. So let's take a look.
They're not giant. It's just the size. So, like, for instance, this is a husky, a full-size husky next to a wolf.
No kidding. There's that much size difference. Wow.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Here we have a bison head. Or a bison in general, like the bison's alive.
Crap, seriously? Come on.
Yes.
Is that real?
That's real. Dude, go to South Dakota. See him.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, he's seen bison.
I never have. I've been right up next to him.
They're that big, huh?
Oh, they're huge. Like if you're going down like in Custard State Park, and if they start crossing the roads, you walk up there. Yeah, when you say roll them up. Yeah, that's not going to do nothing. They would just walk over and knock your car over and keep going if they wanted to. They're huge.
Huge.
It's a Tonka.
This is the next one is a South American tropical freshwater fish.
That I believe. Oh my gosh. Look, there's some big fish in like South America. Just unbelievable.
This one is a Himalayan vulture.
For that one.
Oh, look at that thing.
But look at it. It has like two faces because you can see the vulture head, but then back where its neck connects, it almost looks like an owl.
It does.
Like
it looks
eyes
like, that's cool. What is that one called?
That's a freaking huge vulture.
Freaking huge vulture. I think that's a scientific term.
Freaking huge vulture.
Paul Taylor's our resident biologist.
It's a Himalayan vulture.
Okay, Himalayan vulture. Okay.
Now, this is a video. I've never seen one of these in person. I've only seen a photograph, but not in contact.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm trying to get to it. Let's see. Okay, I get it.
This mute it.
Video. Yeah, you don't have to hear it.
Oh,
I know.
Those
Look
things
at that next to that car.
Yeah, dude,
are freaking huge. Those things are incredibly huge. I've actually seen this video before. I could not freaking believe it.
Look at that. Jesus.
The vulture couldn't believe it either. He's like, what? What am I seeing? He's like leaning in.
This is a whale skull.
Yeah.
Part of a whale skull.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we all knew how big a whale was, but if you showed me this and said, what's that, a skull? I never would have been like a whale. You know?
Yeah, you're kind of like, is that some sort of weird dinosaur bone or something?
Yeah. So
now I did a show in Anchorage, Alaska, and it was in the spring. Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, the mountain range that was just off to the right was just unbelievable. But they said I had just missed moose season because they said when it's cold, they come down from the mountains and hang out in the town because it's warmer. And so you got these giant moose wandering through Anchorage, and I just missed it. I was very disappointed.
Wow.
But
I would love to go to Alaska.
Does a moose poop in the woods? That's what
it was. It would have been.
Let's see this. Oh, look at this. New York City rat.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. They got to milk them for the school children.
You guys heard the story.
Look at that thing.
Did you guys hear the story of it was Wrightson and those guys when they were in the studio in New York, and they had a real bad rat problem. So it was him and it was either him and Wrightson and Barry Smith or Wrightson and Jeff Jones. I can't remember. One of they teamed up and they said they got like these salad tongs and they went and like picked up all the rats. They didn't want to kill them, because they felt bad. So they put them in this garbage sack. They collected all these rats. They said they went downstairs, took them outside, tossed them, into the wherever, and they all landed on the ground and ran right back into the building. They just
oh my God.
Oh my God.
Look how now
that's like a fat cat right there.
Oh my God.
I do not. It is. I hate spiders. Can you see that big ass spider?
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Oh,
look at him.
Nope.
Now,
nope.
Let me hang on a second. Let me tell you a fact. So I don't know if this is legit or not because it's hard to tell by how big that tree is. But I was listening to the scientists. They were debunking this giant spider video, and they basically said that those tarantulas that eat birds, those are the biggest spiders, I guess, in the world. I mean, the huntsman spider has a pretty big leg span, but it's not, its body isn't freaking huge. I mean, it's big, but these tarantulas, and they said that they can't get any bigger than that because they all have exoskeletons, and if they get too heavy, their weight would collapse their body.
Oh.
The exoskeleton cannot sustain that much weight. So there's a limit to how big spiders can get. So this whole idea of a giant spider is impossible.
But I don't know. I mean this thing, that tree to me looks like it at least a good 10 inches around.
Well, yeah. I mean, those big spiders, they can get like this, but I'm just talking like, there's giant. They can't get like this.
Yeah.
I know the biggest ones are like a foot, but I don't know if they get any bigger than that, but wow.
Yeah, I don't want something like that.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, those freaking tigers and
tiger,
grizzly bears are just huge.
Gee, we went and saw the lions, the tigers, and then they've got the ligers and the what are they, tryons? When they mixed breeded them, oh my God, they're even more powerful and bigger.
Yeah.
So this is what Dennis would like to have. Not that normal size cat on the right, but the Maine Coon on the left. The big ass cat that's twice the size.
Wow, so that's like a Siamese or something over there, and then this one is just
it's a little Siamese, normal size probably.
What's the other one? Garfield?
That is a big
No, it's a Maine Coon. I just said Maine Coon versus Siamese.
Oh.
Now, see, I don't know if this is real. I've seen this picture before. Is this real? This is a giant golden crown flying fox.
Okay, so that's Batman or Man Bat.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
No, dude, they get huge. I mean, look at the little kid down there. So let's say that kid's probably 3.5 feet tall. So that's like it's about 5 foot. That's totally legit, I think. I think they get
dude,
that
if that
big.
thing came flying at me, I would just
oh my gosh, are you kidding
heart
me?
attack it right there.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I know. I just saw
I don't want to live in a city where I walk around and see that shit hanging during the day.
Oh God. I mean, yeah, that just would freak me out. But they I don't know why they let that little kid that close to a bat.
Well, it's Dad. Dad's just hanging out, so he's just,
I don't know. I guess they're used to him or whatever. But I mean, talk about rabies, geez. But yeah, I've seen like them like with bats that, not quite that big, but I wouldn't surprise me if that's legit, because that'd be about 5 foot. That's a pike.
This is a tiger fish.
Okay.
I'd like to see Graham go catch that.
Wait a minute.
This is
Bancroft says it's real, but it's forced perspective. They get about 1.5 feet long. Michael, are we talking about the spider?
I bet he's talking about the bat. The bat.
Oh, okay.
So what's
interesting, he gets him in his backyard.
Bancroft probably gets the spiders. He probably gets the bat. He probably gets all of the bad, nasty things. Those are literally his backyards. Everything but the bison and moose.
Hmm.
Here you go. That's a video. I'm not doing a video. Or pain in the ass. Oh, this is good. The size difference between
is that a
coyotes and wolves.
Well, coyotes are not that big.
And those are like dire wolves.
God, that thing. Look at that. It looks like a werewolf, like Frazetta drew it or something.
Yeah, here's one that scares the crap out of you. Saltwater crocodile.
Dude. They allegedly can get up to 25 feet, but I think the biggest one they've ever caught was like 23. I mean, can you just imagine? I mean, just a 10-foot one is like the height of a basketball hoop. And do you double that plus some footage? I saw an 18-footer
compared to her.
We just saw Bad Boys 4, and we saw the albino one go to town. So hey,
that's true.
Well, yeah, and someone says this is a fake photo, but it still doesn't matter. It's not that far off if it is, because I've seen an 18-footer at the zoo in Australia. We went to Sydney, the zoo in Sydney. It was like dinosaur.
Yeah, Reptile Gardens has some big ones.
It's crazy.
All right, here's one for Ethan. This is a cane toad.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if we don't know how big this chick is, but let's say she's like, Helen size, 5'2". That's still a big, I'm not putting that toad on my lap. Okay.
Well, when we were in Florida at CrossGen, I remember Josh was out at neighbor kid's house and they'd caught a toad, and it was this big, and they were playing with it like it was a dog in the backyard. They called it Toadzilla.
Now look at this. Everything is in Australia. Bancroft says, now these are monstrous. They never stop growing and don't die of old age. They get so big they eventually die of starvation.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that's one way to control them, right?
Everything. I just want to know if that's Bud, Wise, or
Exactly.
How about these Asian giant hornets?
There they are. I was waiting for them killer hornets.
That's like those are like 2 to 3 inches long, man. Those things are huge.
Look at those.
I just hope that's like a little kid's hand. But I know it's not.
No, it's wrinkled. Look at the size of that. Look at the stinger.
I know.
Look at the
stinger. Probably has those too.
Oh,
I'm sure.
oh my gosh, that is just horrific.
All right, here. This is video of literally an enormous wolf. Hold on, let me start it over.
It's a freaking werewolf, man. Kidding me?
Look at this thing. We all know how long a road or wide a road is.
Yeah, it's the width of a car, and it's Oh, geez, that is one. Yeah, I don't think you want to be fighting wolves in the wild, right?
I'm driving right by that thing. I'm like, dude,
my
why are you even stopping for the video? Just run them down.
You know what? You could use these dead giant hornets as lawn darts.
You could. Here you go.
Yep.
Hammerhead bat.
Oh my gosh. There's some.
Hey, Michael, you got these two down there?
Don't tell me
they're from too?
Don't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. Look at that thing. Are you kidding me?
I know. And then we'll end it with Budweiser, Clydesdales. We know they're big, but geez Louise, even if that chick's 5'2", that's like 10 feet.
That may be a little fake unless she's a midget, but those horses are freaking huge. Because there was a guy back when we lived in Hillsboro, Oregon, that had 2 or 3 of these, and we would drive by, and they're enormous. I mean,
wow.
Finally, a horse I can ride.
Well, she just might be a short chick, because I would say, based on my experience, that at 6'1", now I used to be 6'2", but I would come up probably about to where that bridle is on its nose.
See, Peter Ma says they are that big, and she's 5'4".
Okay.
So,
well, that's what I said.
This isn't part of the thread, right, but this is interesting. That is a bald eagle's talon.
The eagles are freaking huge.
Yeah,
they're huge.
That's why they take your pets, man.
Exactly.
Wow.
Good Lord, that is huge.
I know. You don't want to get picked up by that thing, right? It's like a Johnny Quest monster or something.
It could grab your head.
All right. Well, now, see, I feel like what I'm going to show is just it's stretches believability a little bit, but I do this every once in a while. I'll go back and revisit. I don't know if you guys ever saw the Gable film, but let me show this again, just as a reminder of why I do this segment and why I'm so skeptical of these videos. But go ahead and watch this, and then I'll explain it in case you're unfamiliar with it. It's called the Gable video.
And how old is this video?
20 years, maybe.
Okay.
I think it was done in the 90s.
So you, okay, so still.
Hang on. And then you get the teeth, the mouth, right? So check this out. So you get the inside of this creature's mouth right there.
Yep.
Okay. Now, here's the video itself. Now, of course, when this was first released, everybody was saying, oh, this can't be a guy in a suit. He runs like an animal. He blah, blah, blah. Okay. So watch this again, and then I'll explain the story behind this.
And that thing's looking like it's coming on all fours.
Right. Okay. Okay. So that's all you get, right? So,
yeah.
And then you get that shot of the mouth, right? Right here, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy the whole thing was a hoax, and it's a guy in a ghillie suit. Okay. And what he did was, I've seen the actual footage that he took. It's super clear and super sharp, and you can tell it's a guy in a suit. But then he took it into like a program, shook the camera up, made it look older, so it looked like a Super 8 thing. And that shot of the mouth, that I think that's the inside of the guy's cat's mouth. So he got the cat, and he took a quick shot and spliced it in. And the whole story was, this guy got attacked by this monster and killed. And he did a part 2 where they found the remains of the body. The cops are there and everything. And it's okay. But people for years were going, oh, this is definitive proof. Finally, this is creature, blah, blah, blah. And they had scientists coming in talking about, oh, how the way the body works, it couldn't be a human being. And it's like, that's exactly what it was. And there's people still using that video today that are claiming it's an authentic cryptid video. So it's
like the Blair Witch Project.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So So every once in a while, I show people the Gable film to remind them that even if something we have looks good, it probably ain't. But let's take a look at my first entry today. This is a rake, as they call them, skinwalker, a rake. I guess there's a difference between a skinwalker and a rake. I haven't quite defined that yet, but I'm trying to gain more knowledge. But anyway, take a look. This is a guy's car headlights. Okay. And nope, there we go. There he is. Oh, wait a minute. I got to share it anything. Yeah, that might be nice if I shared it with you, right?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I get so excited I forget. Okay, here we go. So the car headlights, here we go.
Yep.
Pretty much his neighbor in a white costume or completely bad CGI. I can't tell which it is.
I don't know if it's bad CGI. I mean, is it a white costume or is it somebody that's just...
It looks like somebody on hands and knees that has like extra white cloth hanging off the back.
Yeah.
So my question with these things is always, okay, so this guy's out in the middle of nowhere, right? And he's got his car lights on. Why would an animal or creature walk right into the car lights? They probably would avoid the car lights.
Yeah, I mean, deers don't usually sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what I mean? But if you're coming up on them, they'll freeze in the headlights.
Yeah, but that's usually you running them over.
Right. This guy clearly waited and walked out. This is so fake. It makes me
Oh, yeah. No, I don't believe it. I don't think it's real.
Yeah. Captain Bipto says they interrupted a clan meeting.
Oh, damn.
And they're trying to sneak away.
Oh, they're going to see us.
Angry Gamer says a drunk naked albino. I think you may be onto something there.
Oh, my God. Oh, crap.
Yeah, there we go.
This headlight, guys, we got to get out of here.
Headless Bourgeoisie is cleaning things up for us, or clearing things up. He said, thought skinwalkers were supposed to be Native American shaped. That is correct.
They are.
The skinny white things are rakes. And I'm not sure why they call them rakes anymore, but anyway, so that was a rake, apparently.
And then the daywalkers are the half vampire hunters, played by Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. No, we got that clear. All right. You guys okay. All right. I'm already disgusted by this, but we'll take a look and see what you guys think. I'll quit jading your opinion before. Is this Bigfoot jogging? You tell me.
Jogging?
Here we go. Watch. Here we go. Bounce that camera, baby. There he goes. Do.
Looks like they sped the film up.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's like,
I don't know.
That's like
there's not even any scale to it. There's not even any scale to it to go, oh, it's a Bigfoot. That thing could be like 5'10".
Well, here's the thing. Look at the arms are short, like just a dude jogging up there, in a black suit or something, in a hoodie, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're saying this is in Mexico, and they're saying that it can't be a guy because this is an area that you're not supposed to be human being or people are not supposed to go out on these ridges. So of course, no one's ever broken the law in Mexico or in the United States for that matter. So clearly it's authentic. It's an authentic video of some guy and some guy's friend jogging along this ridge.
Now, if he was breakdancing or something, maybe, but
Okay, look, there's a good shot right there. He's in a costume. Look how short those arms are.
Yeah, but it's
big old booty though.
Hey, once again, we saw Sasquatch sunset, and we know what real Sasquatch look like and how they attack and run. That is not it.
That is not even close. But so you guys, if you're in Mexico, be careful. You don't know, it might be jogging. Paul Taylor says it looks almost like a chick. It kind of does, like a short chick with a big booty. Captain Bitbo said just another border crosser. Anti-entities claiming chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Or it could have been a far distance shot of the man bear pig.
There you go, man bear pig. Michael Bancroft. Bigfoot has excellent cardio. Yes, he does. Like,
apparently so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Moromi, he's right. People don't break the laws. Of course they
No.
don't. All right. So this one, I find this one really offensive, but you guys let me know what you think.
That means I won't.
Oh, well, not offensive in the sense that, but just that, come on, how stupid do you think we are? But here we go. Apparently this couple parked in the dark. I don't really know what the story behind this is, but here we go.
They're making out.
Maybe they're filming their windshield when they're making out in the dark. Oh, it's
get out of here.
Some guy in
Give
a dress.
me a break.
It's Moon Night.
It's Moon Night. Or that, or it's another clan meeting gone awry.
You kind of can see kind of a creepy face there in the
you get a sense for a creepy face.
It's anything you can get from the Halloween store.
Exactly. This is so clearly okay. Now jump up in the car and we'll all scream in the car.
Right.
Of course, they don't tell you where this is at, so you can avoid it.
We just don't know which of his personalities is crawling up there.
That's true. And then the story goes that they went and reported this to the police, and the police totally believed them and said, we've had incidents like this in this area before. They don't tell you. They have no verification of this, of course, and they don't tell you where it's at. But,
Yeah, we all know ring wraiths are dark clothes, so we know that it can't be that.
Now, is this a wedding dress maybe with a hood and maybe just like a bride that's kind of, I don't know, got jilted or something?
Yeah, it's a really clean wedding dress.
Angry Gamer says that's almost as convincing as that moon landing footage.
oh boy, where's Paul Revouche when you need him?
Well, you know who's a believer is Pete Samedi, but he's obviously can tell a fake from a. But now this is on a road in Venezuela or Argentina, excuse me. So I'm not really sure what to make of this because you can't. It's defined and yet it's not. So it starts off out of focus, but then gets in focus, but you still can't really tell what you're. See, you can't really. What are we looking at here? Is that a guy pushing against a rock? I mean, I have no idea what we're looking at.
Oh, it's somebody at the gym stretching.
Yeah,
I mean, it literally looks like somebody's bent over trying to stretch out, like, and their head's tucked down.
Yeah, but what's this back here? What is going on back here? Is that
to me is the front? That's
Wait,
like the head and the arms.
Look at his head, and he's literally stretching over his left foot.
Okay, so you guys are saying that. Hang on a second. So
I'm saying to the left is his butt.
That's his butt?
Torso.
Yes.
That's his torso. What?
Yeah. Where's his head? Is this his head?
His head's to the right.
Okay, that's his head.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are his legs?
Arms.
That's his arms. Oh,
like
okay.
That's a human. He's literally stretching out over his legs. That's his two legs, and that's his other leg.
I see.
Somebody says it looks like an elephant sleeping.
Well, so what's this big mass right here?
That's his butt. He's sitting on the ground.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, that's his legs sticking there.
Okay. I see. I couldn't tell. I see what I thought at first was these were his legs. This was his head. And he was pushing against this rock.
Oh, no.
I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Dennis and I are seeing the same thing, which is strange.
Yeah. Well, anyway, apparently you will see this kind of thing on the road, off the side of the roads in Argentina. So you want to be careful.
Gross. Oh, I bet you Bancroft's got those in his backyard too. I
bet. Like, yeah, I got these weird guys always stretching yoga poses in my backyard at all the weird hours.
Oh. Matthew Mummow says it's clearly someone who had too much happy hour.
That's right.
Jerry Rasco says no, it's one of those big ass fruit bats we saw earlier. Sean Allen, just right to the point. That's a damn. Oh, I thought he said that was a whore.
What? That's a hare.
So he says that's a rabbit. Okay, a big one. Of course, there's nothing to compare it to size wise. Captain Bipto, it's a bald cat cleaning his feet. See, that's what we spark conversation on this show with this segment because people don't know what they're seeing Looks like an elephant sleeping.
Yeah,
like when you look at,
I don't know about that one.
Is this like when you look into the clouds and everybody sees something different?
It is, because Spaceman says that once again it's a chupacabra.
It's a cow. Pity Maw. Now
maybe it's a New York rat.
Pity Maw is an expert in the Budweiser horses, so she says it's a cow. So I can't figure out heads or tails on that if it's a cow.
Well, I can tell you that that's not a cow.
Okay.
Sleeping, standing up. I mean, they sleep standing up anyway.
Okay.
I just want these people to get a good phone. It's not that hard anymore.
Chick riding a clam.
Oh. Get a good phone.
Paul Taylor is a biologist, and he says that looks like potentially a dragon. So
yeah, I can see all biologists leaping right to dragons on that one.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the best I could come up with this week. It's getting harder and harder to find decent videos. It's getting harder and harder to find videos that I haven't already seen and shown on the show, but I continue to search just for you guys. If I may, please ask you guys to hit the like and subscribe. We have a pretty big, we have our biggest number right now at this very second. So please hit the like and subscribe so we can get this channel up to 4,000 subs, and I can catch Graham, because look at Graham thinks that Star Trek 1 is the best of the Star Trek movies, and that's good enough reason to vote for me, give me subscribers to pass him for saying something as ridiculous as that.
That is ridiculous.
We all know Star Trek 2 is by far the best movie.
It is correct. That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Best submarine movie ever.
It is. It is. It's great. Okay, let's take a moment here and remind everybody why we're here. We are here today. Well, I'd be here anyway, but today's a special day because we want to close out, 30-day closeout on Kor-drath, A Christmas Miracle, the children's book. Let's see if you guys have pushed it over 1,500, which was our goal for today.
That is the goal.
Okay, you guys, we need $70. Come on, get in there.
That's two people.
That's two people. Get in there.
Getting the featured tier of all 3 books.
That's all.
That's it.
Look at let's take a look at what we get again. I don't think the people in the chat are completely clear on what we're getting here, Andy.
I agree. You get in the featured tier, you get all 3 books. You get the children's book. It's perfect. Seriously, if you've got a young reader in the house,
full color,
full color, colored by my buddy Brad Vencato, who I worked with on the DC children's books. Same format, 8.5 by 8.5 square, paperback. It'd be seriously perfect for an early reader, young reader, to teach them to read. It's a nice Christmas story.
And this will be shipped out before Christmas. Is that correct?
It's going out in November.
You will have it to the Christmas.
There you go.
Yeah, we're looking to go to the printer at the end of September.
Okay, look at there's a fairy in there. Come on.
There's a fairy that shares some eggnog with him because he's getting thirsty on his little trek.
Look at how happy this family is reading Kor-drath. That could be you.
Be that happy. Yeah.
And this, I love this. This is the coloring and activity book, right? So it has the story in black and white, but it also has all of these extra activities in there. And and I said this earlier, you guys that are adults in the audience that don't have any kids, you want this activity book. And because it's black and white, they could actually scan these pages from the story and practice coloring on them, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could scan the pages into your computer, and if you ever want to practice your Photoshop comic book coloring, go to town. And, it's drawn in a simple style. So obviously it's perfect for a coloring book. So you could really try to work up some nice coloring.
Because, adult coloring books are a thing. The adults love to do coloring.
I know. DC did a series of covers. I did several of them for, they would do adult coloring book covers for like Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and stuff.
I know. I did one.
Well, there you go.
So
now if you're saying, okay, now this is kid stuff, it's not for me. Well, they provided an adult version. And again, Andy, what's the difference between the kids version and the adult version?
Well, on the left, you have how he interacts with the bear after he sees him. Actually, the previous page above, he sees the bear and he's shocked. And then he realizes the bear just is hungry. So he shares some Christmas cookies with him that Adriana baked, and he pulls them out of his little front pouch. Now you guys know what Kor-drath carries in that black pouch on the front of his loincloth. But on the right, for the adults, he eats the cookies. It's kind of like his spinach, and then gives the bear his up and comings with a knife through the top of his head, which does a body good. So and jams a cookie in the bear's eye socket and goes on his merry way. So there's a number of pages in the book that we changed. I redrew. Obviously, different coloring, different text at the top, but the story is the same. The goal is the same. He needs to find the perfect Christmas gift for his love, Adriana, and get it back to the camp in time for Christmas Day.
Because it's a big surprise to her.
And he will kill in the adult version to get it.
Oh, yes, he will.
He does.
Let's just say that this is not the worst thing in the book. It gets worse.
So just out of morbid curiosity, you need to back this so you can get the adult version.
I mean, we don't want to give everything away. It's only 24 pages, but
these
it does get worse.
Now, I love this. Now, you also said that you opened up this as a campaign on Kickstarter today, right?
We did.
And attract the different audience that we're not getting here on Indiegogo. But look at this. So you'll combine the amounts raised on Kickstarter and Indiegogo for these stretch goals. You guys cut out stand-ups of Kor-drath and Adriana, multiple use item. We talked about how they could be target practice, or you could use them as, like fun little cardboard action figures to do your own little Kor-drath story if you want.
You could pop a hole at the top of them and hang them from your ceiling.
Yeah, look at that.
As a little, what's that, mobile over your child's
that's right.
bed.
That's right. If you got to
stand them on a table, just like that little graphic shows.
That's exactly right. So. Look at that. Used to love the cardboard. You just don't see cardboard stand-ups anymore. And
you don't see cutouts anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, there's your options. It's a simple campaign.
That's right. Straight to the point. There are no add-ons. So
look at that. So you can get all three books, which seems like, so you get the adult version, you get the regular version, and you get the activity book version, all for $37. That's awesome. Right. Or if you just want to get the mature book for some healthy mature reading, you can get that.
You can.
Or you can get the kids pack, which includes the activity book and the children's version without the
added discount. Version. That's right. Yeah.
So,
or you can get the children's version and the mature version.
Give one to your kids or grandkids, and then you can read the mature version on your own. But anyway, so there you go. This is a fun project. Nobody's doing anything like this, and I think you should jump in there, get on board with this.
That's right.
It's surely going to be a collector's item. Let's see. Did we get to 15? We did a lot of talking, but didn't get that extra backer. We have got a couple $100 in backers today, which you can't shake a stick of that and say thank you guys very much for doing that. But
yeah, thank you.
Let's get this.
Angry Gamer wants to know when Kor-drath 2 is supposed to ship. That is going to be in actually, I can tell you because I'm looking at the campaign page, March of next year, and I just finished page 25.
So he's moving along with that.
26 is on target and moving along as expected.
That's right. Randy Howell, Canadian, $2. Paper Christmas tree ornaments. They exist.
There you go.
Perfect.
Great idea.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I want to remind everybody that the early sign up for Wraith of God 3 is now active on Indiegogo. You'll find a link in the description of this video. You'll find a link for Kor-drath, a Christmas Miracle children's book, as well as a link for Kor-drath the Awakening, and Kit Carter Planet Doom, the graphic novel, which will be closing out next week. So get in there and back if you haven't already. Back all these projects. Why the heck not? It's good, clean fun for the whole family. I want to thank Andy and Dennis for joining me today. We had a great show, a lot of fun.
Oh, it was fun.
I always enjoy the company because Shelly is semi-regular these days on the show. So I always have room for some guys that want to come in and have a little bit of fun with me. So I really appreciate you guys. Are you going to do anything after this to keep the closeout going or?
No, I get up at 5.
There you go. And he's like, he's got work to do. Guy's got to get up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that doesn't keep you guys from going in and backing and telling your friends.
Check it out.
And get in there and let's get this up to 1,500. We're almost there. Let's see if we can do that here in short order. But thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you to the chat, for the super chats, for your participation in this show, because we couldn't do it without you. So everybody have a great week. Remember, you got Comics Get Kings on Monday night, Professionals on Tuesday night. I think Graham's hosting this week. Then, of course, Wednesdays, Graybeard's Studio. And Andy and Dennis, you guys do your show before Graybeard's.
Wednesday at 3 p.m. We have, Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern. We have Christian Blatt from the Blatt Cast. Christian's a great guy. He's been on our show before. He lives out in LA. He has a pop culture type podcast. And we're going to be doing a deep dive with spoilers into Deadpool Wolverine. It's been 2 weeks. So now we can do a deep dive into it.
Yeah, and let's not forget the landing party Wednesday night with Graham, Anna the Star Wars girl, me, and of course that really famous comic book artist. What's his name?
Ron something.
Oh yeah, that's it, Ron.
Aaron, I think the way he likes to be referred to is the guy that Keanu Reeves hangs out with.
That's true. That's what he goes by. And the guy that Shatner was not kind to. So
not at all.
Ron's he's a deep emotional guy, and he tells his stories often on the landing party. So you don't want to miss that. And so anyway, thanks guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's remaining, and have a great, safe week ahead of you. We'll see you next time right here on Aaron Live. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Prosper.